Established to serve as the scrap tire recycling program operator in Saskatchewan, approved by the Ministry of the Environment. We're responsible to all stakeholders, including consumers who pay the tire environmental fee, the collectors, the Ministry of the Environment, and the people of Saskatchewan. Visit tssk.ca to see how you can recycle your tires.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar. 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit KELLNsolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Happy Monday to you, everybody out there. It is another week of the Sports Cage. Barney Shinkaruk with you for the next 3 hours, along with Darren Anderson, Colson Schultz, Curtis Gammon. We got the whole crew here. What do we got for you in the next 3 hours? Well, the Riders are back on the practice field. Who was back on the practice field? I know a lot of people out there are wondering if this guy was back, if this guy's practicing. How about the new guys? Dave Thomas is going to join us in hour two to talk about that. We're going to recap the U of R Rams and the Regina Thunders, what happened this weekend for them. Coming up in hour one, we talk hockey, and we are going to hear from Braxton Whitehead. If you remember last week, he was the Regina Pat player who has a verbal commitment to go play with ASU next season. It is a big deal. We're going to hear from Braxton as well as General Manager of the Regina Pats, Alan Miller, is going to join us here in hour one. Hour two, Dave Thomas, like I said, all about the Riders there. We're going to hear from Trevor Harris as he's back on the practice field. They need a win this weekend in Calgary. Hour three, Darian Durant, as per usual, on Mondays. And Dan Farthing, Riders strength and conditioning coach, is going to join us in hour three. So a lot to get to. First off, DA, like I said with me, that I'm kind of glad you maybe didn't come on last week. After the Banjo Bowl and everything, the Riders, the week off last week, obviously comes hopefully at a good time. So here's the question I got to ask you. As a guy that's been around the team a long time, fan, season ticket holder, all that, what do you say when people say, well, maybe they shouldn't have had they shouldn't have left town. They shouldn't have kind of had that bye week.
Oh, what? No, a bye week is great. Like, you get your poop in a group and get get ready for the last 5 games. Like, it's 5 games left in the season. The spot that they're in, it's crammed in the West. It's just win. Like, being here, if that helps you, be here. If you need to get on a plane and go see your family, go do that. Like, do you think these guys go away and forget they're on a football team?
Yeah.
No. Is it timing? Like, do they need to sit here and have a new quarterback and work on timing of routes? Geez, I hope not.
Yeah.
Not at this point of the year. It's rest, relax, get your body right, and go win.
That's what I'm curious to hear when we talk today, like that rest. And I think it's coming I would think it's coming at such an opportune time with, like you said, the stretch run now. And then we look at this week, what happens. Calgary and Montreal tie. Toronto takes care of BC in BC. It's a wild year for the CFL, and yeah, the Riders do control their own destiny. I'm curious to talk to Dave on who was on the practice field. What was AJ Ouellette doing out there? I think the new running back, Raquel Armstead, he was at practice. What did he look like? What kind of reps has he taken? Dave's going to be able to update us on all that. Godber, how's he looking?
Right.
Sevier, all those guys, right? So we will talk to Dave in hour two, get more into the CFL side of things. As for hockey news, this morning, Braxton Whitehead of the Regina Pats, after the news comes out last week, he has a press conference and talks about, how he came to this decision, why ASU. very well spoken. He is, an older guy in the league, which is great and all that. He started the presser with just his comments and I guess his prepared statement.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming out today and listening to what I have to say. It means a lot. Just want to say a few things before we get started here. I announced my verbal commitment to Arizona State University on Friday last week, and throughout this entire process, the Western Hockey League, Regina Pats, and ASU have been extremely supportive. My family and everybody around me has also been super supportive, so it's been amazing. So I'm hopeful that the rules are going to change in my favor, and this is going to be something that can bring the hockey community together.
So, like I said, mature young man comes out with the statement, all that. Okay, all that. I then asked him, how long has this process taken?
I think I started reaching out to schools about a month and a half ago now. So kind of from start to finish, it's actually been pretty quick. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And
then after that, it's like, obviously, your brother played university hockey, still involved down there in the NCAA and all that. And it was, this wasn't something I can't see, he sits down at the old computer one day and starts going, okay, I'm going to start sending letters. I'm going to send this here and this here, like some of us did back in the day, but now right. He's got, so I had a chance to ask him, how many people kind of helped him with the process and along the way here.
Absolutely. I mean, people here at the Regina Pats, my advisor helped me a lot, and honestly, I got a lot of advice from my family. So it is up in the air right now, but honestly, in my opinion and many others, I think that the rule will change. So it's something that I felt like I needed to take the first step forward to maybe get that ball rolling. I think that, within the NCAA, there's been a lot of rule changes lately, whether that's the transfer portal or the NIL money that some of the athletes are getting, and I think that those are some things that will contribute in my favor.
Okay, so we'll get there's a couple other clips from him in a bit that we'll get to, but let's go right now to General Manager of the Regina Pats, who's joining us, Alan Miller. He was also at the presser today. Alan, like I said, you get a chance to be around this kid. Comes out with a statement, very well prepared, mature. Said all the right things. First off, before we go down the rabbit hole of what's gone on here, Braxton Whitehead as a kid or as a player, how would you describe him? Because I'm sure you're getting a lot of those questions.
Yeah, thanks for today, and thanks for having me. And you're bang on, guys. We're dealing with a quality young man here. Very smart, common sense prevails in a lot of things that he does on and off the ice. Great teammate and leader, and this whole situation in terms of him, taking the initiative to explore what his options would be after his 20-year-old year here with our club. Based on the rumors and some of the legal actions going on around NCAA eligibility, what he initiated and the dialogue he opened up that led to this commitment, he deserves a ton of credit and just a quality young guy. Pleasure to be around.
The one thing I asked you, it's like the oldest major junior hockey franchise, Regina Pats. So maybe it's fitting that you guys are the first ones having to deal with this. Are you surprised, Al, how quick this has come because, with the class action lawsuit and all that, or were you getting prepared for this?
Well, you need to get prepared for this. It's kind of like the line in Moneyball, adapt or die. And, so this is something we feel is imminent based on the information we have and the dialogue we've had with, the WHL and people we know in the NCAA. You've got to be prepared. I think it's gonna certainly change the landscape quite a bit. but I think, all in all, there's a lot of positives to it. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, just what you've seen legally and as I said at the presser this morning, I'm not knowledgeable to talk the legalese of everything that's going on, but you see what's going on with the nil and the money and the lawsuits and all that. I guess at the end of the day, for the NCAA to say that CHL players aren't eligible based on the $250 stipend they get a month or playing with pro players just isn't going to cut it any longer, and everybody will need to move forward.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Like we're talking, for lack of a better term, chicken feed. You hear what some of these tennis players are making and coming and still playing college tennis. The one thing that you touched on at the presser too, Al, was just the process of once you guys found out. It's not like you just throw out a press release and say, okay, here we go. Like the chain of command, I guess, or the people that you talk to right up into the top brass with the NHL.
Yeah, this is a significant movement in the game, and it affects so many levels when you think of the number of clubs in the CHL and NCAA hockey. You think about the age group of players from 15, 16 to their early 20s, those type of opportunities. And hey, there's lots of dialogue. There's lots of things that potentially are going to change here. When Braxton first brought this to our attention, and Braxton and I sat down on a call with the ASU coaching staff, and it was about it wasn't about the decision or making change or plans or strategies. It was just there's a lot of people that need to know what's going on here, and people that need to be updated. So whether that was the commissioners in the CHL, the president of the Canadian Hockey League, Dan McKenzie, Dan Neer, our commissioner here in the Western Hockey League, new to the position, reached out to the NHL and Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly. Braxton's agent updated the NHLPA. So there was a lot of stones to unturn and lots of people to update just before anything went public with the announcement last week.
Hey, DA here, just a quick question. I spoke to my brother who's down in Duluth, Minnesota, quickly, and we started rattling off all the impacts this is going to potentially have. But essentially, kids on January 1st of their 16th birth year, that sounds right, can start getting letters and then can start taking visits when they're 17. This is obviously, if this lawsuit goes through and you're going to have this ability to play in the CHL and transfer down to the NCAA, have you guys as an organization started to think about how are we going to deal with kids coming into our program as a Pat and saying, hey, I'm going to go do a visit to UMD next week, when we have a little bit of a break, and how, obviously really early, but how do you start to analyze all those impacts that's going to radically change the business for your club?
Well, we don't know the impact of those, variables like visits, and right now we don't know what a potential relationship looks like with the NCAA. We don't know what a potential player transfer agreement looks like. I think that's something that needs to be on the table. That's something that I think, whether it's Hockey Canada, USA Hockey, NCAA, CHL, I think the NHL plays a role in all of this. I'm particularly hopeful in terms of trying to manage at this level that, we're not dealing with chaos. We're dealing with, structure and agreement, policies that is fair to everybody, but in particular, most fair to the players. So whether a player signs with the Regina Pats and it plays a 16 and 17-year-old year and then has the ability to go for a visit we don't know what that's going to look like, and there's certainly a lot of work to be done to see how that would all play out.
Do you think, so what are we sitting in here? We're sitting in, that's mid-September. Do you think by December this thing snowballed where there's a number of kids giving these verbal commitments?
I think it's possible. I think information that I've received is, there's a number of NCAA schools that are, going to be actively scouting 20-year-old players in the CHL for potential opportunities, similar to Braxton potentially joining ASU in 25, 26. I believe that there was 3 or 4 NCAA schools at the Everett tournament last weekend or the weekend before. So again, I think that, where the CHL team may be adapting in terms of, the eye on American players and what scouting looks like in the U.S. with potential changes, the NCAA is doing the same thing.
Yeah, this is gonna. It's so. I wish we could fast forward like 8 months and where this is. This is fascinating for me and just being on both sides. Do you have one more on that one?
Yeah, just again from my brother who's kind of in the mix of it. He's got a kid in the elite U.S. High school hockey in Minnesota right now. He thinks this January 1st there'll be letters going out to kids that have already committed and already playing CHL hockey. Right? He's going, schools aren't going to sleep on that. They're going to have those letters out. And so kids are going to start thinking about it. Whereas it kind of wasn't an option. That was more of an SJ issue for them to have, right? Is when is an SJ kid going to leave? And all just leapfrogs into the CHL.
I don't know if Al wants to touch that one.
Yeah, I think that's really premature to think that that's going to happen, or I'm not saying that it's not going to happen or what schools are planning to do. I just think that there's the rules haven't even changed yet, so once the rule is changed, there's a lot of other things going on behind the scenes with the powers that be, commissioners and all those things on how this is going to play out. So, you're going to hear lots of things about what teams or schools could and couldn't do. I don't think anybody really knows right now what it's going to look like.
Okay, well, while we got you here, we got to ask you about this new signing, Colorado prospect Owen Segna. So he's the son of former Slovakian NHLer Peter Segna. How did this come about? What's he all about, Alan? You're probably pretty excited about him.
Yeah, you know what? He made a great impression on us in camp. Started with fitness testing. He was probably in the top 5 in the entire group in terms of fitness testing. We have Red Gordon that works for us in the States. Did a great job getting this young fella to our camp. Obviously, his dad played in the NHL, played NCAA hockey, was the Hobey Baker winner in 2003, and it was a player that we were very impressed with. We feel he's got a bright future in the game. We listed him, at camp and started the process of talking about signing him, and they were excited about making that commitment, and really look forward to him joining our club.
So he joined you this year?
No, he's a 2009, 15-year-old that'll start to compete for a roster spot next year as a 16-year-old.
Yeah, so I thought. Okay, before I got to ask you one fun one before we let you go here. You talked about, I used to call it an allowance, $250 stipend. When you started in 97, 98 in Guelph, what was the allowance back then for guys?
Oh, I don't even know. I don't even remember. I know it was less than what the stipend is now. But you know what? I can't even recall.
I just remember some of the Blades guys back in the day talked about how some guys had different ones, and it was all at the Texas T and all that kind of stuff. All right, Al, thanks so much. I know it's been a busy day. You've had to answer a lot of questions from a lot of different directions. Totally appreciate you hopping on today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, gents. Take care.
Right on.
Thanks, Al.
General manager of the Regina Pats, Alan Miller. It's crazy, DA, and I know there's people out there that are like, I don't get it, and I don't even totally get it all, but it is going to change junior hockey in a massive way if this happens, from not the CHL, but then the junior A leagues. Like, unbelievable. And then 10 years from now, who knows what we're going to see for leagues? Like the BCJ, which has kind of gone rogue, and it is more that USHL model, like a premier league. We could have different leagues showing up that are just like, yeah, I don't know. And then there's so many people messaging and saying, hey, well, what about this? What about this? I have no idea.
All right. Well, you get Americans wanting to come up and play more here in those 16, 17, 18-year-old years, right? Our schools, maybe have an in at a school and the school saying, go play up in Canada, whereas now they kind of push them into the U.S. junior leagues. Are we going to see an influx of Americans coming here? It's really unknown. And
then I think I mentioned this on Friday, and I've talked to a couple guys. It's like, the Ivy League schools, like that's going to be, because if your GPA's got to be here, to get in, you got to have, and then you have to maintain those grades. So it's not so much of the hockey there, but they do the D1 thing, and then now you'd think that D1 hockey is going to be even better, because now you got everybody with the opportunity to go play. So will the Ivy League schools survive? How are they gonna? I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to watch and see how player movement moves. Again, they're not increasing the number of kids playing hockey in the NCAA. There's not an increase of kids playing hockey in the CHL. It's who's getting those gigs, and how is it shuffling all out once you've got all of these opportunities in front of you.
The having your cake and eating it too is because so many kids now have to, here's a way to put it out there. You have to choose. So if a 15-year-old or 16-year-old goes to the Regina Pats camp or Moose Jaw Warriors or Swift or whatever in the major junior, and he's gonna play for us as a 16 or 17-year-old. This kid is good, but the kid wants to go the NCAA route, the schooling. And for parents, if you're a parent out there, you know how important 4 years, in some cases 5, of paid education is. So then it's like, well, as soon as you play, I think it's an exhibition game, I think, in the Western League, you eliminate your NCAA availability.
Yep. Yeah, and it's gonna, like my brother said, once these kids get to go do visits and see the facilities down there and get the boosters there.
Yeah.
He said, how does an 18-year-old kid not go down to Michigan and go, oh my gosh, like,
yeah, or ASU.
This is incredible. Or
like,
ASU.
If anybody's ever walked down Mill Ave in Tempe at the age of 18 or 19, you do not want to get on a plane and come home. Like, you just don't. And then there's a number of the Boston area, like Northeastern, right. BU, BC, like all that. Like, it's so these kids will say, no, I'm not playing the exhibition game because I don't want to screw my NCAA eligibility. So now the WHL teams are going, all right, we'll commit to a scholarship deal with you. So now the parents know, that, okay, my schooling's paid for. I'm going to play major junior hockey. Whereas, and the other thing, it's like, okay, so if you play, let's say hypothetically, you play 2 years major junior, and then you Michael Bolton to the States to go NCAA, and then you only play, let's say, 2 years there. Can you come back and finish your degree with the 2-year scholarship that you got from the CHL?
Well, and my brother right away went and said, how come the U.S. school can't get that 2-year scholarship? So can you go play in the States and get the CHL team to pay for you to play there? Yeah. So now you're adding in a walk-on kid who's getting school paid for, who's a dub kid.
Yeah.
and going, well, no, just use your money to come play here. Give us whatever you have.
Your CHL money, and now you freed up a whole other spot for a scholarship on another kid.
Exactly.
I think that, the double dipping, and that'll all come out in the wash. There is so much here to unpack. It is a fascinating story. We'll hear a little bit more from Braxton Whitehead a little bit later in the show on what he had to say. It's unbelievable. He's an American kid, too. That's one thing that he talks about here later. He's an American kid. So the American kids, not all of them, but a lot of them, their dream is to play NCAA hockey.
Right.
And he's originally from Alaska. I think his parents live in Kentucky now. And he grew up watching that. And if you're immersed in that, and like you said, you're playing on weekends, you're playing in absolutely packed barns, bands going nuts, you're flying to a lot of your games in a lot of places, and your week, and then you're hanging out in a frat house and with the boys, and have your cake and eat it too, right? It's the all new Sports Cage. If you are watching at sportscage.com, also sportscage.com, you want to go, we have a poll up there today. Should NCAA players and CHL players be allowed to play? How it's worded, should major junior hockey players be allowed to play NCAA college hockey? So you can go on to sportscage.com and vote. You can watch the stream. And as always, we are on the home of the Regina Pats, 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op Liquor Stores. Now open in Harbor Landing and Rochdale Boulevard.
Sometimes there's a song you just gotta hear. And every Sunday morning from 10 till noon, we give you the chance to play your favorites with the Sunday Morning Request and Dedication Program. 2 hours set aside to play what you want.
Hey, Cindy, what can I play for you today?
Forever and Ever Amen by Randy Travis.
Good morning, Ray. Could you play Coal Miner's Daughter for me?
I wonder if I could request Eagle When She Flies by Dolly Parton.
Sure could.
It's all brought to you by Matt's Furniture. Online at mattsfurniture.ca. True Fit Denture Clinic. No one should know you wear dentures, not even you. The Sunday Morning Request and Dedication Program with Ray Allen from Country's Greatest Hits, 620 CKRM.
What type of vehicle should you use for a fall hayride?
I bet you're going to be punny.
An automobile?
Ugh. Whatever type of vehicle you drive, fuel up at Sherwood Co-op Gas Bars.
As a member, fueling up means
sharing in the equity.
Buy a car wash or some snacks from the C-store.
It's like putting money in the bank.
You better believe it.
Sherwood Co-op Gas Bars.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
When you have a big job on the go, always head to Prairieland Rental for everything from skid steers to excavators to jackhammers. You'll get everything done with equipment just from Prairieland. You won't need to go anywhere else. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They're very local and very Sask. They appreciate your local business and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street. PrairielandRental.com.
Bidding is now open for the timed online land and farm equipment auction for Richard and Carol Arndt of Arcola, Saskatchewan. Register to bid at macauctioncompany.com. Up for auction, a quarter section of fertile land and a 1,700 square foot bungalow with numerous outbuildings just south of Arcola. Also selling a 2016 New Holland round baler, a 2013 MacDon 16-foot hay-bine, shop and woodworking tools, plus much more. Bidding closes this Thursday, September 19th at 10 a.m.
Hey Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Listen to this. How does a 50-50 payday sound? Sounds like a win to me. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can purchase 50-50 tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can even score quickly with the early bird prize. This week it's a Whistler ski vacation and you'll be in for the massive weekly jackpots. Buy now at riders5050.ca and support amateur football in Saskatchewan. Sponsored by ISC. License LR 2426.
Hi, Jason here, General Manager at Capital Ford Lincoln, and I want to tell everyone that employee pricing has been extended to September 30th. Right now is the best time to get into a new Ford. On top of employee pricing and great financing rates, only Capital Ford is adding additional discounts as high as $2,500 over and above. Combining these two great offers generates savings as high as $20,500 off new 2024 models. See all the details at capitalfordlincoln.com. Hurry though, employee pricing ends September 30th.
November 15th is the deadline to report your crop production to SCIC and register a claim. As soon as harvest is complete, report your detailed net production, accounting for weight, dockage, and grade. If you have any questions about reporting your production, contact SCIC before the November 15th deadline. Visit scic.ca or call 1-888-935-0000.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
Thanks to everyone who's watching on sportscage.com and, of course, listening on the radio. It's for Kellen Solar in Lumsden. If you had any solar for the house, the farm, if you need to move water without electricity, those are your guys in Lumsden. They can do it. Let's shift from hockey to football here. I'm very curious. I think somebody texted in the Capital Ford Lincoln text line because I was curious on the same question. John from Regina. He wants to know if Reynolds and O'Day are going to come out publicly and talk about this. Miles Brown has been fined by the CFL. Again. And it's just coming down today. I would really like to be a fly on the wall on how it took this long. Is it something to do with the bye week? Like, that looks so hokey. Does it not?
Well, right, because, I mean, we were sitting here going, like, you got fined today for what? Like, what did he do this week?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, it must go back to that hit on Streveler.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
But, I mean, you got to be quicker than that. To your point, you don't look stable if you're giving fines 2 weeks later and fans are going, what the heck? Where did this come from?
What's the statute of limitations on something like this in the
Well,
CFL?
right. And maybe they have some rules around the bye week, etc., but it really seems odd to me. And I agree. I think the team's got to address it. Because what play are you trying to take out of the game on that hit? Like, I get it. Someone got hurt. It was a penalty. There's lots of penalties. We're going to start fining for every penalty that someone gets hurt now? Like,
he doesn't take a drop. Like, he is in the mosh pit. He's right there. The odds are something bad's going to happen, especially when guys are rolling around, because that's what happens when guys try and get blocked or guys are blocking. It could have been his own O-lineman. It, like, so easily could have been his own O-lineman because he's literally 12 inches from all those bodies. And then you get, Miles Brown is going to he's getting fined for playing football.
Well, right, because I don't understand if you have a conversation with him, what is the league saying they want him to do different there?
Exactly.
What are you supposed to do different?
Yeah.
You're literally getting tackled by an O-lineman into the quarterback and you hit him above the knee, right at the knee. Like, this wasn't like a free run and you should have checked up. You're finding a guy for not being able to change what he did. Like, I don't know. Don't rush the quarterback. Was that the answer? Like, I don't get what they're signaling here as a league to tell Miles, don't do this anymore.
I would love to know, does he get an email, a letter, a phone call? Okay, here we're finding you because you got double teamed and the guys took out your legs and you fell into a guy's thigh.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna give half. We want half of your game check. He should sue them, or is there some crazy lawyer? He should counter. Like, that's absolute garbage. What did I do wrong?
Well, go back to the game in Edmonton or in Ottawa. We're playing in Ottawa in overtime. Right? You got the rush. You roll into the quarterback's legs, and we're arguing whether it's a penalty or not. Can you imagine if they fined the kid? Like, I don't understand the difference in those two plays. Like, what are you trying to signal here to defensive linemen to do differently? Because that's what you do with a fine, right? You're trying to signal that something was done inappropriately. That's what I want to explain to me. There's 100 penalties in a game. Don't tell me it's because it was a penalty. Is it because someone got hurt?
But it was like a freak. And who was it? Brady Oliveira? He came out and said it wasn't a dirty play.
No.
It's a foot, like, things happen, especially down on the offensive and defense lines. Like, have you ever seen an offensive lineman where it happened in Monday night or last night? I thought whoever it was, I don't know the guy's name. Poor guy. I'm like, oh, that almost took out his knee from the side because it's just a freak thing, and it happens all the time. And a guy got blocked and pushed, and then he lost his footing, and then he went into the guy's knee.
Right. Got rolled up on.
Technically the same thing.
I know. You can have, I'm not even arguing whether it was a penalty or not, because I think you could have that argument. But just because it was a penalty and a guy got hurt, now that's an automatic fine? Like, is that what we're saying now? If anybody gets hurt on a penalty? Or is it just on quarterbacks getting hurt? So if this was a receiver.
Yeah. Yes.
This was a receiver, was there a fine?
Yeah. So they run a screen play out to a wide receiver, and they have two guards or a guard that pulls, and they have a slot back blocking out there. And then Miles Brown goes to make a tackle, gets tripped up, hits a guy's knee sore. Would you fine? No, because he's a receiver. No, that doesn't make any sense.
No, I get it. We want to protect the quarterbacks. Don't have any free shots. If you're coming free, aim for that midsection of the body. But there's got to be some common sense here.
And if you're a short yardage quarterback and you're taking a one-step drop and you're letting it heave, that there should be something in there to be like that you become fair game. Like this is so stupid.
I agree. I was shocked today when I heard that he was fined. Like, I get it. You take the penalty. I can see the argument if you're trying to be the refs and saying, like, let's err on the side of caution, fine, it's a penalty. For the league to now fine him for it baffles me.
So we got a number of people in the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. They're like, O'Day and Reynolds have to say something. Yeah, maybe on this I can agree with the people that text in that are absolutely hot all the time. I agree. They should come out and just absolutely light up the league. Just come out and then who's this here? Leonard. Delayed fine, fellows. The league looks very stable. LOL. It looks Mickey Mouse. What are you doing?
It really does. And I like, did you get 2 weeks of, did Winnipeg press their side for 2 weeks? Like, just needle them until they said, fine, we'll fine them if you leave us alone?
I'd see after the Oliveira, and who is the Wade Miller?
Yeah, he's the
GM. Nice sport coat, though, that game. I already shout out Wade, really nice coat. I didn't hear anything from him, not like the week before where shoulder hit Glass Joe and he was out. Okay, yeah, right. I guess a little bit of a fine there. Sure. I still don't agree with it because it was kind of like he tucked it in, but we can't.
Again, you're signaling to him, just you didn't have to hit him. I think that was the signal. What I took in that play, Miles Brown didn't have to hit the quarterback. He's coming free. The ball's gone.
Kind of like Big Hill on Shea Patterson. Didn't have to hit him at that part of the juncture of the game.
But yeah, all we heard about is how that's part of the game. Yeah. Shea Patterson shouldn't have taken 2 extra steps. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, man, do you look like absolute pigeons. CFL. What are you doing? What are we, Monday?
I just don't. And now the teams, like to your point, now the team's got to deal with it. Inside the locker room and outside, if that's what it comes down to, and you're going into the last 5 games of the year here in the tightest of races we've seen in 10 years, and this isn't something you need. Now you got players going to be second guessing what they're doing out there, going, well, what do I do on a quarterback sneak? What do I do? If the guy backs off, do I just leave him alone? Let him sit back there? I don't know.
It's not good at all. You can keep the text coming, 936-6262 if you want to get in. Let's take a quick break. We come back. We're going to recap what happened. Regina Rams, football, Thunder, and then also got a little bit of high school football Friday Night Lights. Couple of props there from our game. It's the all-new Sports Cage. Thanks if you're watching on the stream, sportscage.com, and as always on the home of the Regina Rams, 620 CKRM.
The government just asked us to save the world. They'll do it. They've made a few requests, so they want you to bring back floppy disks, pet rocks, and they all want Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Well, that last one we can do.
You don't want to miss a thing. That's why at Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, they have so much to offer, like SaskTel wireless internet. Contact Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today.
APAS is there when you can't be. As farmers and ranchers, you need to fight increasing costs and regulation. But how are you supposed to be everywhere at once? You're busy with harvest, so you don't have time for meetings with politicians, presentations to committees, and tracking legislation that will affect your farm. This is where APAS comes in. Your APAS representative, the APAS Board of Directors, and the Canadian Federation of Agriculture all work together to represent you. APAS is there when you can't be. Visit apas.ca and become a member today.
3D wood signs?
Multi-layer designs?
Dimensional wood art?
Layered wood gifts?
Wood paintings?
Woody layers of awesomeness?
We're not always sure what to call our creations.
But when you need a meaningful gift to recognize someone who matters, this is the place to go.
Personalized pieces made in-house that celebrate the family, friends, clients, and staff you care about.
Sticks and Doodles, Regina's personalized artwork and gift shop. Now open at 2406 Victoria Avenue East.
Thanks, Regina. We promise to make you proud.
You get home from work, and as soon as you open the door, you realize,
oh, this place smells like
shocking surprise. You've got sewer problems. Let's be honest, sewer problems literally stink. You need to call someone who will get your sewer situation all sorted out. You need the sewer experts at Bronco Plumbing and Heating. They're number one in the number two business. Bronco Plumbing and Heating, serving Regina, Moose Jaw, and the surrounding area. 306-781-2090. Give them a call. They'll treat you right.
Rooted in tradition, leading in innovation, McDougall Auctioneers is your first choice for farm auctions. Hi, this is Riley McChesney. At McDougall Auctioneers, we understand that selling your farm equipment is more than just business. It's about peace of mind. That's why we offer a unique guarantee, a minimum value for your auction, ensuring you sell with confidence and comfort. Our promise is your security. Choose McDougall Auctioneers, where your satisfaction is not just expected, it's guaranteed. McDougallAuction.com.
From the Sask Today newsroom, here's what's making news in Saskatchewan.
Now that the NDP have pulled their support from the federal Liberals, the question in Ottawa is how long will the minority government last?
Sask Today's team of local journalists are on the ground in communities across Saskatchewan, focusing on local topics that matter to you. Visit and bookmark sasktoday.ca and sign up for our daily news digest. sasktoday.ca. Everybody has a story. From Harvard Media, everywhere.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. All-new Sports Cage for Kellen Solar on Monday. It's Barney Shinkrick, Darren Anderson here. Colson and Curtis has things on the production side. Tough one for the U of R Rams. 2-0. Going in, UBC was due 14-12 on Saturday. Absolute offensive struggle when you look at that score. I didn't go to the game. I wanted it just Saturday afternoons. Whoa.
Yeah, I didn't go either. I saw some, but all in the first quarter, right? Too, or early on.
Yeah.
And it was a battle after that. Hard to lose a game like that at home. I know, especially 2-0 and they're rolling and they finally get the U of S game off their back and then to come out and be a field goal away.
No,
it's tough.
UBC got a touchdown in the fourth and then they got a rouge point. The classic rouge. Also, Regina hit a 20-yard. Wagner hit a 20-yard field goal in the third. But if that's a sign of things to come, CIS Can West football this year, it's going to be awesome. Like the playoffs, where teams rank. Because right now, the only undefeated team is Manitoba. And they're in first place. And then we have the Rams are 2-1. Saskatchewan's 1-2, Calgary's 1-2, Alberta's 1-2, UBC is 1-2. So the game against the Huskies, though, like, talk about the win there.
Well, right, you hadn't beaten them in I think it was 8 years, something like that, and so you have that big emotional win. You get to come back to your own barn and play UBC. Kids probably refocus on school a little bit. Okay, the big rivalry game, tough to get in gear first week of school, so you're making sure you got all your textbooks, all that stuff too. Hard to say. I mean, it's not professional football.
Trying to stretch out that allowance that you're getting.
Exactly.
Cash. The Rams are on the road this week, Friday, in Edmonton, taking on the Alberta Golden Bears. Brendan McGuire is going to have the call. It's on ckrm.com because there's another tackle football game on these airwaves. So they'll try and get it done. They'll try and move to 3-1 with a win in Alberta. We'll be talking more about them. But the Thunder, woo, that league. It's the Hilltops and the Thunder. Can they just play 7-game series?
Well, right. I guess you'd have some practice games thrown in there. It seems what it's like. It really boils down to those two teams forever now. And impressive for Saskatchewan football for sure. And a lot of fun. I know some of the kids on the Thunder, and so tough to lose it. But what a rivalry. Like, it's just impressive that Regina can, have the Rams move up and now have this wagon of a team built back up again is pretty exciting. The Thunder, they're 51-16 winners at home against Edmonton Wildcats. The Hilltops 57-14 over Winnipeg. So the Rams also getting ready for their big dinner next week. Dave Thomas and I think Chris Mazurek are going to be doing the sports show live from the dinner. Nice.
I'm not allowed to go, unfortunately. So those guys will have it that day. I think it's sold out as well. Where is it here? Sportscage dinner. Yeah, Dinner of Champions, Thursday, September 26th from the Connexus Arts Center. Special guests include Kean Schaefer-Baker, AJ Ouellette, Luke Mullender, Craig Reynolds. Maybe by then he'll go off on the Miles Brown hit. Maybe he'll go off there.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. Craigie steps up and just tears into the CFL because Randy Ambrosio will be there too.
And that'll be interesting.
Listen,
wonder if anyone will bring it up.
Listen, you hack. How do you fine a guy 2.5 weeks or whatever it is? It seems longer.
I doubt Randy is going to want to be here this week. I don't know. That's my guess.
He might pull shoot.
Well, I don't think he'll do that, but he'll maybe try and answer it right away. Maybe because what do you do in the room?
Maybe he'll make a joke about it. Hopefully someone's got about 12 Pilsner deep and then just stands up and goes off on him. Classic Sasky. Riders are back on the practice field today. We talked about that. Dave Thomas is going to join us after the hour, but Dave did catch up to our starting quarterback, Trevor Harris.
Trevor, 10 consecutive weeks with a game. Did the bye week come at a good time for this team?
I think so. It was big time for me. My knee was bugging me a little bit, and so I was able to get some good treatment on it to where I can actually push off of it and run a little bit now, which is awesome. And a good time for us to kind of just get out of the building, reset, and come back, spirited attitude, and come back and attack these last 5 games. And I've reiterated it and echoed it. I like this team, and I think we're going to look back when we get toward the end of the season and like where we're at going into the playoffs.
And, of course, winless in 7, Trevor. Was it important to get away physically and mentally for this group?
Physically, for sure. And, a lot of times when you have a little bit of a cold streak, the best thing to do is kind of just sit back, relax, find yourself a little bit, reset, do some meditation, some good mental training. And I was able to get back in the gym and get some good lifts in. And so it was nice. I think it was a good thing for everybody. And I think you'll see a rejuvenated bunch this week.
I read somewhere that prolonged urgency leads to desperation. So there's no doubt there's a lot of urgency with this team, but is it also a desperate team?
I think that's maybe more like media talk in terms of desperation. I think that's sort of looking at big picture. Where to me we're internally focused, on small things, and doing the next right thing, the next play. making sure that we're honed in on the details. Us thinking about like, we've got to do this in the next 5 games, or we have to, like, you have to, if you get into the have tos, I think that's when you start applying pressure, which pressure exists, anxieties in the future, past failures. If you're in the present moment, there's no such thing as pressure. And to me, we're just going to exist in a moment and just crush every moment.
So how do you capitalize on those moments against Calgary, a team that's probably feeling as much urgency as you do?
Yeah, of course. It's more or less just doing the next right thing. And one of my favorite Bible studies I've been to, we talked about just do the next right thing and, love the next person, treat the next person correctly. And for us, it's just about doing the next right thing, whether it be a play, whether it be, an assignment, a fake, a block, whatever it is. Just do the next right thing and just stay in the moment. Start thinking about future anxieties, past failures. That's where you start getting defeated.
All right, we're going to hear more on the Riders. We got the new running back. Talk to Dave today. We'll hear that. And for all you that have been waiting, Dave Thomas is going to come up in hour 2. So much to get to with him. Sportscage.com if you're streaming. Thanks. You can also go in there and check out the poll. We want to see what people think. Should CHL players be allowed to play NCAA hockey? Sportscage.com. And as always, on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Well, howdy! Wood Country Woody here. Now, you already know Vic West Metal Cladding's the very best cladding for your outbuildings, but did you know Vic West also makes for superior roofs and fences? Yes, sir. Durable hardware and comes in abundance of great colors and really just takes the whole darn cake. If it needs metal cladding, make it Vic West from Wood Country in McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale.
Your home is your castle.
Shop online, wood-country.com.
Your friends at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea have exactly what you need this fall. From muzzle loaders, rifles, to shotguns, you are totally covered this hunting season. Plus, browse through their great selection of ammunition, optics, calls, trail cams, scents, knives, and more. The hunting store that has it all at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. You have a friend in the game. Main Street, Avonlea, or check out prairieguntraders.ca.
For pizza lovers who are short on time and hungry for a great deal, Little Caesars Pizza is ready when you are. Walk in, grab your hot and ready favorites, and walk out. It's just that easy. Try the classic hot and ready medium pepperoni pizza for only $7.99. You get a delicious quality pizza at a great price. It's available all day, every day for just $7.99 at Little Caesars. And try other hot and ready favorites like their iconic Crazy Bread or Caesar Wings. Little Caesars Pizza, 20 years of hot and ready.
Hey, Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Listen to this. How does a 50-50 payday sound? Sounds like a win to me. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can purchase 50-50 tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can even score quickly with the early prize. This week it's a Whistler ski vacation and you'll be in for the massive weekly jackpots. Buy now at riders5050.ca and support amateur football in Saskatchewan. Sponsored by ISC. License LR 2426.
All right, let's get going. It's that time again.
Harvest!
When it's that time again, the harvest isn't always met with open arms by Mother Nature. This harvest season, see the experts at Farmtronics. From grain and hay moisture testers to grain protein testers and scales, they're your one-stop destination for grain handling products for this year's harvest. They also service baler, combine, and grain cart monitors. Call Farmtronics today, 1-800-667-8001, or stop by 380 Henderson Drive.
Down here at Heartland Livestock Moose Show, we are still selling cows and bulls every Thursday. As we get ready for the fall run, these cow prices continue to look very promising. Our first Charsim pre-sorted sale is September 24th, and the first red and black Angus pre-sorted sale is October 1st. These sales always seem to fill up fast, so make sure you don't miss out on the bookings. Make sure to check out our Facebook page and website for any updates. Don't be afraid to give us a call at 692-2385. Get top dollar for your cattle and get them sold at Heartland Livestock Moose Jaw.
Remember the Nightmare Before Christmas and Jack the Pumpkin King? I have a theory. What if it was Jack the Pumpkin Spice King? Him bringing gifts of pumpkin spice treats to everyone? Pumpkin spice lattes, fraps, caps, blizzards, yogurts, cheesecake. But what do all of these pumpkin spice treats have in common? None of these would even exist without Saskatchewan dairy farmers. Milk, cream, whipped cream. They're the foundation of what make up our beloved fall faves. So be sure to thank a farmer today. Look for 100% Canadian dairy products with the blue cow logo.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. It's partly cloudy and it's 27 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Sherwood Co-op Liquor Store, now open in Harbor Landing and on Rochdale Boulevard, and by Mercedes-Benz Regina, for those who can. Mercedes-Benz-Regina.ca. A modest pilot project is being launched to try and ease some of the housing problems in north central Regina. The City of Regina, the provincial government, and Silver Sage Housing Corporation will work together to make units available for people to rent to own. The plan is to take some of the inventory from the Saskatchewan Housing Authority and make it available to Silver Sage. Minister of Social Services Jean Mikowski says the program will start with 10 homes.
Silver Sage will screen the people for the program, and so we'll essentially hand over the building to them to be able to do the work to find people that will go.
The idea is to have more stable housing in that neighborhood while giving people access to affordable housing, either as renters or home buyers. After a violent incident at Evan Hardy Collegiate in Saskatoon a couple of weeks ago, QP is urging the provincial government to address escalating violence in schools. Danae Nicholson, the president of QP 8443, expressed support for the victim and raised concerns over school safety, citing years of underfunding. A QP survey found 70% of education support workers had experienced violence in the last 3 years. QP is calling for a government plan to increase school safety and support for staff and students. A rally is scheduled for September 25th at Saskatoon City Hall. Mounties are looking for a man who stopped a vehicle in northern Alberta and pretended to be a police officer. They say the man, who identified himself as Officer Tom, initiated the traffic stop on Sunday night in Fort McMurray. He was in a black Suburban that had activated red and blue lights, and he demanded the other driver get out for a breathalyzer test. Before getting the results, the man drove away. And the suspect who apparently tried to assassinate Donald Trump yesterday was outside the former U.S. president's Florida golf course for nearly 12 hours.
Ryan Routh appeared wearing shackles in a West Palm Beach federal courtroom where he was charged with 2 gun counts. Court records show cell phone information placed Routh outside the course from roughly 2 a.m. Sunday until 1:30 in the afternoon. That's when Secret Service agents spotted a rifle barrel sticking out of the shrubbery on the course where Trump was playing. An agent opened fire and Routh fled in an SUV.
Driver! Take 2 steps to your right!
Before deputies in neighboring Martin County caught him. Authorities are not revealing a particular motive, though Routh had called for Iran to assassinate Trump, whom he once backed, and recently started supporting President Biden and Kamala Harris. Sagar Magani, Washington.
It's 4:03, and that was your 620 CKRM News. Weather is next.
Style. Performance. Upgrade your daily driver to the new 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLB 250. This SUV packs a punch with features that make a normal drive exhilarating. The ultimate in automotive luxury can be yours for $419 bi-weekly. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at Mercedes-Benz Regina will help you find the exact model you want. Take a test drive and feel the difference. Stop by for an award-winning experience at Mercedes-Benz Regina, recipient of the Star Dealer Award.
What type of vehicle should you use for a fall hayride?
I bet you're going to be punny.
An automobile?
Ugh. Whatever type of vehicle you drive, fuel up at Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
As a member, fueling up means
sharing in the equity.
Buy a car wash or some snacks from the C-store.
It's like putting money in the bank.
You better believe it.
Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
And now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for Line-X Regina. Sirius Protection, Killer Looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialists in Grenfell, servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. Today, sunshine with some partial sun at times, and we've already surpassed our high of 26. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low of 13. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and a high of 28. And on Wednesday, partly sunny with some spotty showers and thunderstorms and a high of 25. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's partly cloudy. Winds from the southeast at 22, gusting to 37, and it's 27 degrees. Regina is also partly cloudy. Winds from the east to 26, and it's 27 here as well. Get news and information anytime through the CKRM app or stream online at 620ckrm.com.
Whether Smokey's after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
You get home from work, and as soon as you open the door, you realize, oh, this place smells like shocking surprise. You've got sewer problems. Let's be honest, sewer problems literally stink. You need to call someone who will get your sewer situation all sorted out. You need the sewer experts at Bronco Plumbing and Heating. They're number one in the number two business. Bronco Plumbing and Heating, serving Regina, Moose Jaw, and the surrounding area. 306-781-2090. Give them a call. They'll treat you right.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, installing solar and residential and commercial buildings for 35 years. Local and trusted. Kellen Solar. Visit KELLNsolar.com. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Hour 2 of the program. It's getting heated on the text line on a lot of different, the Miles Brown hit, or the fine, sorry. People on the sportscage.com poll. Should CHL players be allowed to play in the NCAA? You can always have your say. 936-6262, Capital Ford Lincoln text line. I think I've read almost everything. Tracy always sends in as well, and that's the question I have, Tracy. But now we can get it answered, hopefully, because we're going to go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza, perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, just all the Greek food. Souvlaki, rib salad. You can't make that goodness at home, even if you're my wife, who's an amazing cook.
Need the pizza oven, first off.
You need that Greek sauce on the ribs and the souvlaki. You can buy it at Western Pizzas now. It's still just not the same. Then you got to do all the cleanup thing, and it's just like, Bush League. Dave Thomas joining us back to the stadium today, Dave. Was it like, when you kind of have that break of school back in the day when you're a kid, and then you go back and you're like, oh yeah, this feels like I haven't been here in a long time? Or was it nothing like that?
What do we call the February break back forever ago? Wasn't it like teachers' convention break or something? It kind of did feel a little bit like that, almost like a reset, but not really a reset, because the team dodged a bit of a bullet over the weekend, having BC lose and Calgary not win, even though they did get the 1 point for the tie. It was best case scenario all around.
Who sees Calgary and Montreal? I didn't watch the game. I was at the it was on at the U of R Cougars event at the casino, which was amazing, by the way. What an awesome event. So it's on, and then I go check my phone later that night, and I'm like, a tie? What? I thought we were the only ones that are allowed to tie this year. I didn't even watch that game. What happened? People are mentioning about the blocked punt.
Yeah, there was a blocked punt. There was a number of things that went wrong. Like, really, Montreal took every opportunity they could to hurt themselves, in my opinion, in the game. Calgary did just enough to win. Calgary came out in the first quarter gangbusters and then kind of held on from there, while Montreal just really couldn't seem to find any traction in my eyes throughout the course of the game. So Montreal had a bit of an off night. Calgary got off to a great start. Montreal couldn't recover. So hey, you got to give the Stamps credit, right? They found a way to at least to get a point in the standings and stay relevant and stay with the pack in the West.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question now. Sorry, Tracy, I kind of skirted it. AJ Ouellette, was he practicing today? I know you're at practice. Maybe let's go through all the injuries going into the bye week. Who was back in pads practicing? Looks like they could actually play football right now.
Well, I thought Anthony Lanier II definitely could because he's been nursing that knee injury for the last 6 weeks. The week before, going into that Labor Day rematch, he really was pushing it hard in practice, and I thought that's a good sign. And then today he was out, had the practice jersey on, had the helmet ready to go, but told us quickly after practice that he is going to be a no-go this week, which is unfortunate news because he's a definite difference maker in the interior or the exterior of the defensive line, just the D-line as a whole. So looks like Anthony Lanier is not going to be able to go. Jacob Brammer on the offensive line was back, was working out. It was a limited practice that he participated in today, so again, it looks like the offensive line is going to be status quo from the Labor Day rematch, but we've got Brammer getting closer. We've got Philip Blake actually working out in Regina right now, doing his rehab. Is he anywhere close? I don't think so, but at least that's a solid sign that things are trending in the right direction on that front. AJ Ouellette, no, he's not going to go this week for sure, and I think that's why you bring in Rockwell and Armstead, pardon me. You bring him in as an insurance policy and a guy that can take over the number one role or at least push Frankie Hickson a little further down the road.
Rockwell, is that how you pronounce? Sorry, is it Rockwell or Rockwell?
See, I've got to go back and get the actual pronunciation because in Ottawa it was Rock Armstead, but he doesn't want to go by Rock anymore. He wants to go with his given name, which again is fine by me. Rockwell or Rockwell. We'll get the definite pronouncer from him coming up.
Regardless, you had a chance to talk to the brand new rider today at practice and had a chance to figure out what he had to say and his time in Ottawa now being here.
Rockwell, you were released in Ottawa September the 3rd. Now find yourself here in Saskatchewan. Tell me about the last few weeks and how you ended up here in Riderville.
Oh, man, these past few weeks have been amazing. I got to go home, spend some quality time with my kids, and continue to work my craft, understanding that there will be an opportunity someday. Yeah, man, I've been working, and, I'm just grateful that, coaches reached out to me. Saz came and got me, and, I'm here, and I'm just ready to help this team win and, go win it all.
Now, there's been a lot of speculation about what happened in Ottawa. Maybe set the record straight.
Ultimately, I don't know, but, I wish them guys the best. I hope everything works out. Some people just don't see eye to eye a lot of situations, and, that's fine. It's life. It's a business at the end of the day, and rather be down on yourself. Just continue to be positive, continue to grow, and continue to learn, and, find an understanding. So I've been just working on the things that, may have been a problem in their eyes and, continue to just be better.
So what can you bring to a team that is winless in their last 7 games?
Yeah, we're about to turn that around. Hopefully we win a lot of games, but I'm going to bring a lot of passion, a lot of energy, and, just the effort. I just want to, be my part, do my part, and, just be the 111, 112.
You've definitely had a different view of the Saskatchewan Roughriders from the outside looking in. What have you learned from this team or about this team from a distance?
It's crazy. I actually love the Rough Riders, and when we played them, I told a couple guys I'm gonna be here, whether it's next year. I don't know. I just like the defense and how we, went at it and just all of that. So I'm grateful to be here. It's super big. It's a blessing. It's amazing. But ultimately, I'm here to work. So as long as I can keep ball, and the main thing, I'll be fine.
Now, your eyebrows did raise when you heard winless in 7 weeks. Is that a surprise to you?
Oh, yeah. They look talented to me. Like I said, they held me to 50, 60 yards when I played them. They were really good, really strong, really stout. And these guys compete. So, I'm excited to just come in here and compete with them and change that.
All right, Dave. I really hope we're going with Rockwell because, as you know, Kenny William Gordy, better known as Rockwell, American singer, his 1984 single, Somebody's Watching Me, featured Michael Jackson singing chorus. That's a heck of a song. Do you remember it, right?
Well, yeah.
And then they can play it when he scores.
I'm in for that. Let's do it.
Love it. Sorry, you had a question.
Yeah, so, Dave, at practice today, obviously we're coming into a crucial 5-week period. Not that they aren't all crucial, but is the team look like it's firing on all cylinders out there? Is it, what did practice look like after a break? Are they ready to roll in this last 5 weeks?
I'd say there's a little pep in their step today. Not to suggest that there wasn't before, but you could see that there was probably some enthusiasm, right? Or just an opportunity to have taken a break and then come back re-energized and maybe even a little more refocused as well. So I like the signs from what I saw on the field, and end of the day, it's really going to see, and this is going to be a telltale sign this week. Can this team figure out a way to win? I know that Coach Mace over the last 2 games, the Labor Day game and the Labor Day rematch, pointed to the fact that, hey, quite simply, guys, these are must-win games. Well, if those were, this definitely is in Calgary this week.
What else does everyone have? What is this week when we look through the schedule? BC's got the Tiger Cats. What's going on there? Bo Levi Mitchell comes out slinging it like Johnny Unitas again. And they,
CFL. I don't know.
Winnipeg and the Elks. That's a curious.
Big back-to-back games, the Elks and Winnipeg the next 2 weeks, obviously. And then before we play the Elks. So this is what's great about a smaller league is every game, literally every game now, because the standings are so tight, every single game is much watch. And like you said, there doesn't get much more than must win. If you lose to Calgary, we're tied with them and they've got the win over us. Like,
you know what else is great about a small league? You can just fine a guy for a penalty like 8 days later. Apparently, Coulson, you found out Coulson's like he's going to be like our legal analyst, although he's got no legal training.
I was going to say the best I would be like a legal intern. So don't put me that far. No, I just went through, quickly scoured the CFL collective bargaining agreement to look for the fine section, and they can fine somebody with the cause up to 10 days after the incident. So this is allowed as far as we can tell.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it's allowed. The CFL can do what they want. They may have levied this fine last week and just didn't announce it until the Riders were back from their bye week, right? It's a possibility. And again, very interesting that they'd go ahead and release it today.
It's like when my wife gets mad at me for something that I did like 2 weeks ago.
I just heard you say that you don't do the dishes. I can't understand how she'd ever be upset with you.
Oh, you know what you did? Back in August 15th. Yeah, no, and then we heard from Trevor Harris earlier. Pressure's on though, like for all these guys. And like I said, the weirdness of a tie between Calgary and Montreal, I think for me as a fan, probably for you too, we were like, it's Calgary, whatever. And then now it's like, oh, we're got to go there.
It's Calgary.
Yeah. Although we have a lot of fans there. And so on paper, Dave, when you're doing your prep here this week and all that, how do these two teams match up on paper the way they stand right now?
Well, if you look at it right now, the Calgary offense has had problems moving the football all season long consistently, and that's been their Achilles heel. Their defense comes to play, and their defense can make plays, but they're not nearly as, let's say, they don't make the big play like the Riders were making at the start of the year. That's why the turnover ratio is so high in the Rough Riders' favor. For the Rough Riders, they've got to get back to that where they start creating turnovers and they start finding ways. The last game they played in Winnipeg, they didn't take the ball away once, and that was a huge factor. So for the Rider defense, they need to be able to prey on that and take the ball away, as Jake Mayer has been prone to throw interceptions. The curiosity behind that is Matthew Schiltz. Now, Jake Mayer, I'm not going to say didn't have the confidence of Dave Dickinson and the Calgary Stampeder brass at the start of the year, but the Stamps did go out and shine Matthew Schiltz at the start of the season to bring him in to compete with Jake Mayer. Now, Schiltz just came off the 6-game injured last week, so That's when they went to Logan Bonner in Edmonton, and what a disaster that was in their Labor Day rematch. So now Matthew Schultz, he was the backup last week, and he's there pushing Jake Mayer for playing time, and that's exactly what the Stampeders want. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jake Mayer and the offense, which again has been prone to turn the ball over and has been inconsistent when they do move the football. We'll see whether or not they can pick up from there. Defensively, like I say, the Riders are going to have their works cut out on offense to capitalize on the Calgary defense, but it is a matchup that can be exploited, especially if the Riders can become two-faceted offensively. They've had to rely mainly and heavily for the last couple of weeks, due in large part, in my eyes, due to the injuries they've had on the offensive line. They've had to rely upon the quick pass game as opposed to a running game. So we'll have to see whether or not the Riders can get back to that balanced type of offense, which they were built upon. That was the identity they wanted to have in coming out of training camp.
So, David, having said all that, the Riders are, to me, obviously a better team. And so what, the expectation has to be going into this week, even though we're traveling to Calgary, this is a win for us, or we got to do some soul searching. Because, like you just said, they've had a lot of question marks in Calgary all year, kind of stumbling along. We came out of the gates looking like a thoroughbred. And how... we can't have stumbled back that far that Calgary becomes an issue for us.
Well, and I think that's the one thing, right? So, Barney, I know you love it when I use the coaching analogy that I use in the dressing room, that you can either be bitter or better. The other one is, what's the definition?
I put that up in my kitchen. Wall art. My kids are like, what does that mean? I'm like, Dave, look at underneath it, Dave Thomas.
You put that up August 15th, hey? Anyways, the other one is, right, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. The Riders have to come out and they have to do all the little things right. So the penalties of the bad times has to stop. It has to be them that makes that one critical play at the critical juncture of the football game, whether it's a blocked punt on the opening drive or whether it's coming up and making an interception late in the game or getting a big stop or finding a way to move the football when Calgary comes and puts a surge on defensively and starts to bring the house. In my eyes, that's exactly what it is, and I'm completely with you, is that it is time to go ahead and make a statement and define who you are.
If Maz was here, he would want to see more production, and I do too. I think we need to start drives with the best field position as possible. And obviously that's such a stupid, people are like, of course you do. It's football. You want to. I'm just like, I feel we're not... And I don't think it's just the return guy. I think it's as a collective group, we got to figure out a way when the ball gets punted to us, we need to get more than 5, 7, 8 yards. Like go ahead.
There's an interesting number. I know and I understand that, okay, we want more production from Mario Alford. He is one of the most respected returners, in the entire Canadian Football League. So if you look at the punt average against him, teams generally are giving up 7 to 8 yards per punt average. So say they come in with a 44.8 yard average on their punts. They're willing to go ahead and put that back to 36 so that they can go ahead and place the ball where they want to. So that field turnover ratio or position doesn't look as sexy as it does with big returns, but that's because the opposition isn't giving Mario Alford much. How many times does he have to dance out of the sideline because he gets the ball inside the numbers, right? It's just the way that the teams are playing him.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, I'm trying to figure out how you game plan around that, because they are putting him in that bedroom, right? They're punting it. He doesn't have a lot of places to go. I've never worked or coached the special team side of the ball that well, and I wasn't that responsible as a player to play it. So, I just don't know, like, is there anything we can do there?
The team does work a ton of blocking schemes and trying to do everything they can. And today they were working on outside leverage drills, right? How do you beat the outside leverage that the teams are looking to gain in that return game? And the other point is that, again, risk reward. What do you want to blow up, right? Are you willing to take a stab at it? So I don't know what Mario Alford's arm is like, but let's have him throw the football across the field. If everybody's coming that way,
old school.
Hey, you just might get the old school play, right? Then you have to respect them and stay in your lanes. You can't converge on that tight corner.
Can we do it like Boise, where they had the blue jerseys on the blue turf, and the one guy just fell down and he hid, camouflage in the turf, and then they threw it back to him?
Home game, wearing the green.
Yeah, when we're in the greens, the obsidian at night, maybe something like that. That was wild seeing that. You go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, to me, and Dave, maybe, like we've been able to make play, and Mary Alford's a perfect example of this. He's made a lot of plays this year. I don't think we can argue that. I find that the thing that's been missing the last 7 weeks is we don't seem to be able to have a player to make a play when we need a play. It's that, you can drive down the field in the first quarter, second quarter. All of a sudden, things get tight in the third quarter, and we seem to kind of lose the ability to make that play to win the game. And it's professional sports. Yeah, I'd love to talk to Darian about this too, is that ability to come in, and even if you're not playing well for a stretch, when you need a first down, we're not getting it. When you need a big play from Mario, we're not getting it. The defense has had some timely plays even in the losing streak, but we don't seem to be able to just turn that corner.
Well, the one thing that I will speak to on that, in my eyes, and again, I went through on the bye week through some of my notes from the first games of the season, and, trying to read my chicken scratch, I may or may not have bought life insurance, so I'll get back to you on that. But actually, building upon that is the fact that the Riders right now, if you use a boxing analogy, right, how many times do you get that one knockout, round-out punch, right? Generally, you're going in with a combination, right? So the Riders right now, in my estimation, they're throwing that jab, but it's that second punch coming in that doesn't happen all the time. So they make the play, they just don't have the follow-up. And I think as soon as they can get that follow-up play, whether it's an interception that turns into a big score and a big sudden change, or maybe it's an opportunity to get a big run, you knock it out of the ballpark and then you put the ball in the end zone, right? It's just they haven't had that follow-up. Like you go back to that Montreal game, right? The Riders drove the field to tie the game at the end of the game, and they just didn't execute on special teams.
Yeah.
So it's just that second counter punch, the combination punch, that if the Riders could get a 1-2, then they're in good hands.
The old 1-2, like when was it Piston Honda in Punch Out, where you had to like combo back up, back up.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question, because I know you got to go. Was on the field, and I should have asked this earlier. Offensive lineman Tarek Stewart. They brought him in. He's mountain of a man. Was he out there? Is he still here? Did he come back? Did he anything? What's the deal on him? Because he's so big. That's why. Where's his 6'5", 300 pounds? I want to see this person close up.
He looked like he was there but again, I want to go ahead and double check on that for you, because there were guys that were moving around with different numbers today with the new signings, the player signings that came in. But I looked and I saw Jacob Brammer, and I didn't see Ryan Sevier, and I didn't see Philip Blake, and I didn't see Peter Godber. So I thought, who's up on the offensive line? And I didn't see him, but you'd think I might,
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got you all week. We're back in the saddle now. We're getting ready for Calgary. So, We'll reconvene tomorrow. Big chicken scratch guy. You can have the night off. Okay, who do you got in the Monday Nighter tonight? What are you thinking there?
Oh, I'm a Cowboys guy, so you know where I'm going.
to the bathroom to vomit?
No,
man, you guys
the
looked
worst part of
awful
that,
yesterday.
Oh, 3 times in fantasy last week I got offered a deal to pick up the New Orleans running back. 3 times I said no.
Oh, wow. That one hurts.
Yeah. You're telling me.
We got Falcons. They're 5.5.
Eagles, yeah.
They're 5.5 dog tonight. The Falcons. I don't know. Is this a Kirk Cousins game? Like he coming out? How did the Raiders beat Baltimore?
I don't.
It's like it's awesome though. It's like the CFL. You never know who's going to win. So you're not. What would you bet tonight, Dave? If I got to sprinkle,
if I had to sprinkle like you, Barney, I'd be going Philly, of course, because there's
to cover
no doubt in my
5.5?
mind. Yeah, absolutely.
Cover 5.5. Yeah. I've been hitting the over/unders like crazy. Everything else I've been totally off.
Yeah,
45.5. I think both teams maybe light it up tonight. It's in Philly. Let's check the weather. Okay, Dave. Let's do this tomorrow. Talk to you.
Take care, guys.
Voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas. Yeah, no, it's I don't want to think about if we go into Calgary on Friday and lose.
Oh, I know. You look at the standings and go, that plunks us right to the bottom. Like, now all of a sudden we spent the first half of the year thinking about first or
People are booking flights to Vancouver.
All right. And now all of a sudden you're down there, and you've also got you're one game down to Calgary, tied with them. The Elks, have been playing so good. I don't know if they can beat the Bombers, but they're only a half game behind then.
Curtis usually throws up the fancy graphics on the back. They're not there right now. But you know how everyone said the crossover is not in play this year?
Yeah.
Like, it's not totally out, is it?
No. Toronto has 6 wins, so you got to beat them outright.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Because the West starts playing the West, it becomes hard, right? Like, we play Calgary twice. Like, if we win our games, we're going to just be in third. I don't know if who finishes fourth here is going to get beat up, and if Toronto has to kind of really play poorly the last 5 weeks of the season here. But again, you're right. It's there. It's there the other way.
It's going to be
Hamilton
wild.
Keeps playing.
It's going to be wild. We're not losing in Calgary this weekend. We can't. No possible. Be a lot of Rider fans there. I'm sure a lot of people are going. Take it all in. So that'll be great. We'll have more talk later. Plus, we got Darian Durant. Like you said, you got a question for him. We got Darian Durant coming up after 5 o'clock. It's the all-new Sports Cage. Thanks for watching on the streams at sportscage.com, and as always on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090. Rider Nation, the all-new Sports Cage is bringing you Cooperators Rough Rider football like never before. Now, for every home game, you can watch the Rider Radio live stream on our Sports Cage YouTube channel. Saturday, September 28th, the Riders take on the Red Blacks. The live stream starts at 10 with countdown to kickoff brought to you by Croft Electric. And we wrap up the game with a Sports Cage Radio Roundtable brought to you by McDougall Auction. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. And don't miss a minute of our Rider Radio live stream.
For pizza lovers who are short on time and hungry for a great deal, Little Caesars Pizza is ready when you are. Walk in, grab your hot and ready favorites, and walk out. It's just that easy. Try the classic hot and ready medium pepperoni pizza for only $7.99. You get a delicious quality pizza at a great price. It's available all day, every day for just $7.99 at Little Caesars. And try other hot and ready favorites like their iconic Crazy Bread or Caesar Wings. Little Caesars Pizza, 20 years of hot and ready.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
Down here at Heartland Livestock Moose Show, we are still selling cows and bulls every Thursday. As we get ready for the fall run, these calf prices continue to look very promising. Our first Charsim pre-sorted sale is September 24th, and the first red and black Angus pre-sorted sale is October 1st. These sales always seem to fill up fast, so make sure you don't miss out on the bookings. Make sure to check out our Facebook page and website for any updates. Don't be afraid to give us a call at 692-2385. Get top dollar for your cattle and get them sold at Heartland Livestock Moose Jaw.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Witness champions rise, legends reborn, and history rewritten.
The Canadian Finals Rodeo returns to Edmonton just in time for its 50th year from October 2nd to 5th at Rogers Place. The roar of the arena will echo once more. Tickets are now available at CFR.ca. The Canadian Finals Rodeo, back and bigger than ever.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. All new Sports Cage, 620 CKRM. Thanks to everyone who's streaming and watching along here. Hockey news today, and I think a lot of people maybe know this, some don't. Sidney Crosby signed a 2-year extension with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't know. It's kind of friendly. It's a friendly deal for the Pens. I'll get the money. I'll get the dollars up here.
$8.7 million, 87.
Yeah.
$8.7 million. He's the 43rd highest paid player in the NHL.
So then it was like, oh, he's doing him a favor. Penguins are going to stink for a few years here. And I get, hey, he's won the Stanley Cup, won Olympic gold, and he wants to play in the Olympics so it'll be a year and a half or next year.
Yep.
So, he'll be 38 to play in the Olympics, going on 39. When this deal's done, he'll be 39. Is Sid going to be that guy that plays into his 40s? He's still so effective and so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair deal. I don't know if it's a big break. If you start going down the list of the people who get paid more than him, you can find some stinkers in there, but that doesn't necessarily mean he was given a deal. I think people react because I think he's been paid $8.7 million for a long time, and you're looking at the top end guys getting 13 now, and going, well, Sid is one of those elite, but he played in a time when 8.7 was the highest in the league. So
I think, and I think there's like a big debate on is he still one of the top 10 players in the NHL? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not qualified to make that claim because I don't play in the league and I don't see him and I don't know. Yeah. I watch him on TV. Still an effective player, but he's not on a very good team. The thing that I thought was, I mentioned to Curtis and Colson earlier, it's like if you want to be like a real solid dude for the Penguins, then last year, get a trade, just a rental player, get a bunch of capital for the Penguins, and then go back and sign with them. You're following me?
No. Yeah.
So you go as a rental.
Okay,
Sid last year goes, you know what? I'm cool. I want to go make a run with Colorado.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to go make a run with Vegas. Wherever it works. So then you say, okay, I'm cool going. Boom, trade. Vegas, Colorado, whatever, they give first rounder, second rounder, prospect, all that. Sid goes, either wins or doesn't, then he re-ups with Pittsburgh.
Right.
And he comes back. So then Curtis goes, but what was Curtis's line? He's like, but he's true to the Penguins or da-da-da-da. It's like, no one cares about that. Like, he's been true to the Penguins forever. If he goes and scrams for a few months or a half a year, so be it.
Well, right, and like you said, maybe being true to the Penguins means getting them some assets that'll make them better in 3 years. I don't know if Sid playing for the next two is going to make them better in 3 years.
No, that's what
that point, like, why hang on to a guy? I get it. He sells tickets still and jerseys and all that fun stuff, but if you're ultimately trying to win, I don't know if he's the first guy you're going to sign if you're Pittsburgh and you're at the stage you're at. You're right. He would be better off being that role player on a team that's trying to get over the hump.
But you get what I'm saying, right? If you left, get them some capital, go be a rental player wherever.
Go to Edmonton. Come on. Go play in Edmonton.
What is Edmonton? Does Edmonton have a lot of capital to give up? Or are they starting to
Darnell Nurse maybe gets hurt? I don't know.
2032 pick. Oiler fans are hoping Darnell Nurse, he gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar somewhere and they can void that contract. Something. Okay. High school Friday night lights. We started it a couple weeks ago here on the Sports Cage. We love it. High school football, 6-a-side, 9-a-side, 12-a-side, whatever. There's the music. There's the fun music. So our game, we had a couple games last week that we mentioned. Watrous, Clavette. Never got an update. That was supposed to be a dandy up there, rematch of the high school championship the year before. Okay, but we did get some feedback on the 22 Storm and Ituna Trojans. It was the 22 Storm from Southie QPAR with a huge 48-0 victory. Don't hang your heads, Ituna. We still love you. We're still going to give you the props and the love. But we got to give clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Always call 781-1077. It was Hudson Bradshaw. 5 rushing attempts, 68 yards, and we're also going to give it to the quarterback, Ashton Moore. 9 completions, 13 attempts, 210 yards for Ashton Moore.
That's an average.
Slinging it back there. So thanks to everyone who sent in emails to hi@sportscage.com. If you got a big one coming up this Friday Night Lights, doesn't have to be under the lights, but I just like to call it that, let us know, because this week this is wild. They're playing in QPAR, and it's, hold on here, Chikai. I think it's Thursday night, and it's Wynyard, and this is like going to be an epic battle. Thursday, 7 p.m. QPAR School. Get this, boys. Ready for your head to be blown? And they sent in the emails. These are portable lights. So they put the lights up and then they take them down.
That's awesome.
I think that should be... I want to video it and post it on sportscage.com.
Do they pull in the trucks with the beams
I have
too?
no idea.
Everyone pull your truck in, put the headlights on.
No,
Old school. Let's go.
I think I've seen these before. It's the same as your good old-fashioned gas diesel generator. It just has a light stand on it. So you pull up the big generator with your half-ton, crank the stand up, and bam.
This is so Sasky.
Awesome. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't parenting in 8 different directions on Thursday, I would be going to QPAR School to just check out the portable lights. And then I'd take in the Highway 22 Storm and Wynyard. It's supposed to be an unbelievable game. So that's our front runner right now for Friday Night Lights, even though it's on Thursday. You can always get at us at hi@sportscage.com. Portable lights. Blowing my mind.
Super fun for the kids and the parents. A lot of fun.
Whoever donated these lights, made these lights, came up with this idea, bravo to you. So hi@sportscage.com. It is Y'all Know Sportscage. We are on the stream at sportscage.com. And as always on 620 CKRM.
Water heater and water softener rentals are now available at Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Instead of paying big money up front, you can rent a water heater and water softener directly from Bronco without the worry or hassle. They have a long history of renting water heaters and water softeners, and they're maintenance-free. Bronco comes and does all that for you. Saskatchewan's best water heater rentals are from Bronco. Call 306-781-2090. Professional, courteous service. BroncoPlumbing.com.
Don't miss your chance to save up to 50% on a hot tub or swim spa at the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at Banner Hall in the Real District. Browse a massive display of hot tubs and swim spas from 5 major brands at up to 50% off. See swim spas in action, offering exercise, fun, and therapy all year long. Every floor model hot tub must go. Financing is available and show admission is free. That's the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at Banner Hall in the Real District in Regina. Visit spashow.ca. That's spashow.ca.
Time is running out. The final deadline in the Rough Rider and Children's Hospital Foundation's lottery is next Friday. Don't miss your chance to win big. There's 10 incredible grand prizes, including your best chance to win $1 million. Imagine driving away in a luxury vehicle, jetting off on a dream vacation, or scoring fantastic rider prizes. But hurry, the final deadline is next Friday. Help Saskatchewan kids to get your tickets now at riderschildrenslottery.ca. Lottery license LR240034. Please play responsibly.
I just read that minimizing book. Get rid of everything. Minimize your life.
That's not exactly what this is about. Step aside. Hi, all. Clarence here for the Rusty Shovel, or Clarence from Clearance, whatever you want. The Rusty Shovel has a ton of inventory hanging around, and they want to make a deal with you and your projects you have going on. Head to therustyshovel.ca, submit what you need, and they'll match you up with the supplies at a discount. therustyshovel.ca. Great projects start at the shovel.
Down here at Heartland Livestock Moose Show, we're still selling cows and bulls every Thursday. As we get ready for the fall run, these cow prices continue to look very promising. Our first Charsim pre-sorted sale is September 24th, and the first red and black Angus pre-sorted sale is October 1st. These sales always seem to fill up fast, so make sure you don't miss out on the bookings. Make sure to check out our Facebook page and website for any updates. Don't be afraid to give us a call at 692-2385. Get top dollar for your cattle and get them sold at Heartland Livestock Moose Jaw.
Watrous Mainline GM's Harvest Savings are on now. Save up to $15,000 on new 2024 Chevy and GMC half-tons with financing of 0% for 72 months available. Huge selection of on-ground Yukon XLs, and Tahoes. In search of a 1-ton diesel cab and chassis? Watrous Mainline has one ready to go. Watrous Mainline Motors is worth the drive every time, and they're wishing all farmers a safe and bountiful harvest. Watrous Mainline GM, your small-town, family-owned dealership since 1962.
This summer, if you're thinking of a new building, think Olympic Buildings. They're engineered from top to bottom to be better than the rest. Strength, solid design, and impressive good looks are all standard on an Olympic farm building. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. Shank, DA, Curtis, Colson. Everybody's been chiming in here. Curtis has been a little shy. We're gonna talk to him, but he's being a little shy. Like we said, Regina Pats, we talked Braxton Whitehead. We're gonna, in hour 3, we'll play the other 2 clips from him. Press conference today. He has the verbal agreement to go play with the Arizona State Sun Devils next season. It could be groundbreaking. It already is. He's the first major junior player to get said verbal commitment. We talked to Alan Miller off the start of the show. Colson will have that in podcast form if you want to go back and listen to that interview. He shed some light on it. We'll have the Whitehead clips in there too, I'm sure, right? So people can, if they want to go back and listen to that. It's great, like you said. You know, your brother's still tied in with things down. He went to Duluth, and they're talking about it there. The one thing that you said, how many Canadians there is now, and if this goes through, how many there could be.
Yeah, I mean, so he's got contacts down there that think it could really explode the number of Canadians down there, which then relates back to, okay, well, now will American kids start coming up to play here to transfer down like a Whitehead? Mm-hmm. Right? It's part of the plan. Like, all of this stuff will be fluid as you start to get it. And it'll be, one kid that starts it off. Yeah. And then a big name kid from Canada that goes, I'm going to play 2-3 years in the dub, and then I'm going to transfer down, make some NIL money. Unless because hockey's interesting, because unless you're that number 1 pick that's going to play, right? Like, think about it. Even after you get drafted, well, now, okay, I played my 2-3 years in the dub or anywhere in the CHL. Now I'm going to go give an NCAA a try.
No, you could have a lot of Canadians down there, and then the American thing though too is like when you talk to kids, not all of them. So I don't want to say all of them, but a large majority. If they're playing junior hockey in the USHL, North American League, Eastern League, wherever, their goal is to play Division I NCAA hockey. They know the CHL is awesome, and it's Canadian, and it's all that. But it's not as sexy as we think to a kid from New Hampshire, a kid from Texas, a kid from wherever. That
Minnesota.
Yeah. Minnesota, yeah. They want to play the Minnesota, like they got the Beanpot in Boston, which if you're a kid, you want to play in that so bad with all the universities in the area. And then Minnesota kind of does one, I think, too, where there's all the Minnesota schools, or they used to.
Yeah.
Like, that is what you want to do. And then that you've been to these rinks, or you've been to the Excel Center in Minnesota when it's Duluth versus the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and there's 28,000, and it's like, keep in mind you're a 17, 18, 19-year-old boy too, right? And this rink is packed, and it's like I said, you're frat house guy. You're all like, that is such a big deal. And then, it's like, oh, by the way, we play on weekends and we fly to most of our games, unless you're on that Eastern Seaboard.
Yeah, lifestyle is way different. Lifestyle's way different than playing the CHL, riding the bus on a Tuesday night,
And that's what
from here to PA. There isn't that. It's a totally different lifestyle.
And that's what a lot of the American kids, they want, they love. And here it is. Major junior is the big percentage of kids want to play in the dub. And I don't want to speak for Ottawa or for Ontario and Quebec, but I'm sure it's a big deal there as well. So it is going, and I think the snowball factor of like Braxton is the first.
Yep.
And like I said, in a month from now, how many 20-year-olds do we have saying, okay, committed to Colorado, okay, committed to Duluth, okay, St. Cloud, wherever.
Well, and then I think the big changer will be when, I don't want to use any current kids, but let's say Cole Sillinger way back in the day, as a 16-year-old agrees to go play at ASU, and then ASU says, well, go play in Medicine Hat for 2 years and then come down once you graduate high school. And so now the plan for a high-level kid is to go play in the CHL for 2-3 years and then have that out. And it's going to change the thinking. It's like, okay, I'll play in the junior league, and then I'll go play with adults and men in the NCAA to hone my game before I go to the pros. And you can get NIL money. There's not a ton of NIL. It's not as much. Like, you're not talking football level, but the big schools, the big programs with the big boosters, you can make more than the stipend up here.
The $250 allowance. And I think, who did I talk to? This was way back when on the show, and he's a Saskatchewan guy and he coaches. I'd have to look it up. And he said, well, yeah, the NIL, it's not like football, but, we have a car dealership and they have a deal with the team. So then everybody gets a little bit of something from that. And like how it works, I have no idea, nor do I, want to start going down that rabbit hole. But it's not like football. So we have, like I said, Braxton Whitehead talked earlier today. The one clip here that we have, he talks about why. So remember, he's originally from Alaska now, and he played a lot of his, bantam, midget, all that in the States. So now his family lives in Kentucky. But he talks about why NCAA hockey and not U Sport.
I mean, I think that U-Sport schools are great, but somebody like me who grew up in the U.S. and I was always very involved, going to watch like the University of Alaska Anchorage Seawolves or the Nanooks play in Fairbanks. It was always a dream of mine to play in the NCAA. So, and I grew up in Alaska, so that meant I was also playing tournaments in Vancouver and in the youth. So I also had the dream of playing here in the WHL. So, trying to make both those dreams come true is kind of what I'd like to do.
Rightly so, right? Like one of the questions I asked him, I don't have it in the clips, was Fairbanks or Anchorage in play? And then like he doesn't live, they don't live there anymore. But he said, yeah, he did reach out to one of them. The coach is really nice, and because he would have that strong tie growing up watching the Nanooks and the Seawolves or whatever, both schools there. Like it would just be so huge for an Alaska kid. The other thing I asked him is how many guys are asking him like how he did it now that he's kind of come out, like how are you doing this? And then I said, well, why ASU?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's a lot of interest within the CHL, and people want to know how I did it, and I've been completely honest with everybody. I reached out to the schools, and Arizona State was always my number one choice, so I'm very happy and excited to have a future with them. I played tournaments in the Southwest U.S. when I was a kid, and the weather there's really nice, and they got a brand new rink, and the coaching staff is amazing, so I think all those things kind of nailed it on the dot for me.
Nice way of putting it, Braxton, but yes, the weather would be really nice. It's ASU. The rink is unbelievable, brand new. Golf. I asked him if he golfed off camera. He said, oh yeah, I golf.
All right, and the facilities down there are absolutely top notch. Yeah. And you're right, like you're in a community too that's a big sports school.
Yes.
Right? Like all those draws. Like it's I can't imagine. I mean, the one thing for him it'd be interesting is there's going to be team players from across Canada, I think, calling him, trying to track down his number.
Absolutely.
He's going to be becoming like, how do you do this? I want to do this. How did you contact teams?
Can you send me the letter that you sent, and I'll just insert my name? And then that's what I would ask.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way I can get this done. It's the all-new Sports Cage. Thanks so much. The story is up at sportscage.com. That's where you can watch us streaming. It's all right there. And as always, we are on the home of the Regina Pats, 620 CKRM.
When you have a big job on the go, always head to Prairieland Rental for everything from skid steers to excavators to jackhammers. You'll get everything done with equipment just from Prairieland. You won't need to go anywhere else. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They're very local and very Sask. They appreciate your local business and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street. PrairielandRental.com.
Take a trip down memory lane. Weekdays at 1 o'clock with Colin Lovequist. Number Ones at 1. A full hour of country's greatest hits and the stories behind them. We'll take a look back at musical milestones, celebrate some country music birthdays, and a whole lot more. It's all brought to you by North Home Windows in Foam Lake. Number Ones at 1 with Colin Lovequist on the Voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
Bidding is now open for the timed online land and farm equipment auction for Richard and Carol Arndt of Arcola, Saskatchewan. Register to bid at macauctioncompany.com. Up for auction, a quarter section of fertile land and a 1,700 square foot bungalow with numerous outbuildings just south of Arcola. Also selling a 2016 New Holland round baler, a 2013 MacDon 16-foot haybine, shop and woodworking tools, plus much more. Bidding closes this Thursday, September 19th at 10 a.m.
It's been a long day. I don't want to cook. I'm going to surprise the family with a pizza night. I'll be a hero. My family might actually pick me up in celebration and carry me around the kitchen, and they'll chant my name, and I'll be celebrated until the end of time when I...
This isn't Western Pizza. I thought you loved us.
Don't pizza fail. Get what they want. It's gotta be Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Hi, Jason here, General Manager at Capital Ford Lincoln, and I want to tell everyone that employee pricing has been extended to September 30th. Right now is the best time to get into a new Ford. On top of employee pricing and great financing rates, only Capital Ford is adding additional discounts as high as $2,500 over and above. Combining these two great offers generates savings as high as $20,500 off new 2024 models. See all the details at capitalfordlincoln.com. Hurry though, employee pricing ends September 30th.
620 CKRM and the Sportscage are proud to be the voice of sports in Saskatchewan. Join the Sportscage for the monthly Fries Tallman Indigenous Athlete Showcase, highlighting builders, athletes, and coaches who have had an impact on Indigenous sports across the province. Fries Tallman Lumber in Regina and Fort Qu'Appelle is proud to support programs to uplift First Nations across Saskatchewan. The Fries Tallman Indigenous Athlete Showcase, exclusively on the Sportscage on 620 CKRM.
Arcola Co-op has you ready for your deck renovations. Whether it be a new build or yearly maintenance, Arcola Co-op has you covered. Everything from decking boards, framing projects, hardware, cement pads, anything for your deck. Get ready for summer at home or at the cottage with a new or refreshed deck from Arcola Co-op. With delivery to Kenosee and White Bear. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Arcola Co-op on Highway 13 since 1916. Arcola Co-op Home Center. You're at home here.
Your sewer backed up big time. Some guys came, tore up the carpet and drywall, then disappeared, leaving a mess that's almost as bad as the first one. That's one disaster after another disaster. But even so, Winmar Property Restoration gets that ugliness handled. It doesn't matter if they didn't start the job, Winmar will finish it. And they'll finish it quickly. Winmar Property Restoration, 949-0032. See winmar.ca.
The 620 CKRM Country Corner is brought to you by Glasses TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, and Foster's Audio Video in Carlisle. Get the newest cell phone today with an amazing SaskTel rate plan.
Take in the Southie Summer Market every Sunday from 10 to 2 until the end of September. A variety of local vendors with baking, jewelry, clothing, and more. Find them on the junction of Highway 6 and 22 as you enter Southie. The Regina Thunder Dinner of Champions is coming up September 26th at the Connexus Arts Center. Enjoy a great dinner and President's Fireside Chats with Riders CEO Craig Reynolds and CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosi. Tickets at ReginaThunderDinnerOfChampions.com. And Saskatchewan Women in Ag bring you Connect, the Heart of the Farm Conference, November 7th and 8th at the Sheraton Cavalier in Saskatoon. Plenty of guest speakers including Alana Cook and Brady Johnson. For full details and to register, visit womeninag.ca.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com.
O'clock. Good evening. It's mostly sunny and it's 28 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound in Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. And for Kevin's Marine, make the most of summer with a boat or pontoon from Kevin's Marine in Fort Qu'Appelle. kevinsmarine.com. The provincial government, the City of Regina, and Silver Sage Housing Corporation are teaming up to try and make housing more affordable in North Central. Some homes under the Saskatchewan Housing Authority will be transferred to Silver Sage, who will then qualify people for the rent-to-own program. Regina's Mayor Sandra Masters says this is a good step to make housing more affordable in that neighborhood.
The folks that live there are really proud of it. It's got great school investments that have happened, more hospital investments, perhaps more recreational investment coming.
The three groups have signed a memorandum of understanding, and now all three will work together to lay out the nuts and bolts of the program and how it will work. The victims of a triple homicide in a city that straddles the Alberta-Saskatchewan boundary have been identified as a man and his two adult sons. RCMP say 66-year-old Brent Peters, 32-year-old Matthew Peters, and 34-year-old Brennan Peters were found dead Wednesday on the Saskatchewan side of Lloydminster. Their bodies were discovered after officers were asked to do a wellness check at a home. Police said last week that the suspect or suspects were still at large. They said the killings were not random and that it appeared the victims were targeted. RCMP say there is no ongoing threat to public safety. Unity Wilkie RCMP were called to a single vehicle collision on Highway 374 near Tramping Lake at about 2 a.m. this morning. 4 adults were in the SUV. A 24-year-old woman from Westlock, Alberta, was pronounced dead. The remaining occupants, 2 men and a woman, sustained injuries. The RCMP, along with the Saskatchewan Coroner Service, are continuing their investigation into the crash. Saskatchewan's government released a progress report on its 2019 growth plan, highlighting economic and population milestones. The province's population reached 1.23 million in 2024, with a goal of 1.4 million by 2030. Exports surged to 49.3 billion, surpassing a 2030 target. The agriculture sector also exceeded goals with a 20.2 billion in agri-food exports. Saskatchewan remains a leader in potash sales also, with 10.9 billion in 2022, and strong growth in uranium and forestry. And polls will be closing soon in 2 key by-elections taking place in Winnipeg and Montreal today.
In Montreal's LaSalle-Émard-Verdun, voters will be able to visit the ballot box until 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Liberals are hoping to win the vote there after losing a key party stronghold in a Toronto by-election over the summer. And in Winnipeg's Elmwood-Transcona, voting will take place until 8:30 p.m. Central Time. The New Democrats are hoping to hold on to their seat, but polls show it's a close race with the Conservatives. Lauren Izzo, The Canadian Press.
That was your 620 CKRM News. Coming up next, your 620 CKRM Weather.
With the success of the recent Apollo space flights, man has been brought another step closer to the moon. Aboard these flights, 3 astronauts, and with them, top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features.
Houston, we've got no problem at all. We're loving these smartphones that we got at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer's biggest role isn't in the space program. It's right here on Earth, in Fort Qu'Appelle, or online at echosound.ca.
Summer's here, and if you want to have the best one yet, you'll need a boat from Kevin's Marine in Fort Qu'Appelle. Right now, they are putting folks on the water with the lowest prices of the year, including manufacturer's rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing on a fantastic selection of Lund and Four Winds boats, and pontoons from Crest and Harris. Now is the time to save big bucks and enjoy summer. Big savings, big fun, all at Kevin's Marine. Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. Stop by or shop online at kevinsmarine.com.
It's 5:04, and I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather, brought to you by Line X Regina. Serious Protection, Killer Looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and for Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all electrical needs. CroftElectric.com and all socials. Now, here's Precision Weather meteorologist Steve Adamson.
A couple of frontal systems and upper-level disturbances will impact our weather this week, with a couple of opportunities for some showers and some possible thunderstorms. The temperature trend stays warmer than normal the duration of the week. Tonight, partly cloudy conditions, the low temperature around 15. Tuesday, a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover, dry for most places. An isolated shower or thunderstorm is possible in a few spots. A 30% risk, the high temperature up to 28. Tuesday night, partly to mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers and thunderstorms possible. A 60% probability, the low temperature near 18. Wednesday, mostly cloudy and rather breezy with scattered showers and thunderstorms again possible. A 60% chance, the high near 26. Thursday, mostly cloudy skies, still some scattered showers possible. 50% risk, the high near 19. Dry on Friday with a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover, the high around 21. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather Meteorologist Steve Adamson.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is 24, Swift Current 26, Assiniboia 28, Yorkton Melville 26, Moosomin Broadview 24, Estevan 24, and Weyburn is 26. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy, winds from the east at 22, and it's 27 degrees. Regina is mostly sunny, winds from the southeast at 23, and it's 28 degrees. Get news and information anytime through the CKRM app or stream online at 620CKRM.com.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Croft Electric. You've probably heard of us because we've been around for over 27 years. We do commercial and residential work? Yes. We do permanent holiday lighting? Yes. We do cabins? Yes. And farms? Yes and yes. We're an authorized Generac generator dealer. We are a full-service electrical company with the experience and the people to service all of your electrical needs. We are Croft Electric. We will be here when you need us. Do it right, do it once. Follow us on all social and call 306-586.
The old cage, where Saskatchewan local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar. 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit KELLNsolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
5 o'clock hour, welcome back. If you're driving home, still maybe get that crop off, driving whatever you're doing. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching on the stream as well, sportscage.com. You can go in there and vote. Our question today, should CHL players be allowed to play NCAA hockey? Since we had all that chat with Miller from the Regina Pats, Braxton Whitehead. It was great today. Capital Ford Lincoln text line coming in handy again. Thanks to everyone. I will mention Eli. I love it. Always positive Eli. That's all Crosby's worth. None of them are worth near that much. They're all way overpaid. Eli, never change being you. I love it. Trevor sent in a real long one, and we need more from our return game. We're talking about that with Mario Alford earlier. And then Trevor brought up a really good point on Crosby's contract, the $87 million. Remember this, know this. He's very superstitious. All of his contracts have been $8.7 million. Trevor, good heads up, that a boy. Then the last text I want to get to here, no name, but thank you so much. We talked about our Friday Night Lights game last week, and then we talked about the big one. It's not, you can still email us in yours at hi@sportscage.com, but there's an absolute slobber knocker going down in Cupar Thursday. Wynyard and Cupar, 7 p.m. under the lights, and then it just absolutely blew my mind that those lights are portable. And then thanks to unnamed texter, the sponsor of those lights, Flamin Sales, Zipperlock Building, Westcon Equipment, Big Rock Trucking, and the RM of Cupar.
Well done.
Good.
All involved.
On all that. And I'm hoping to get a video of some of this go down on Thursday night. I wish I could make it to Cupar on Thursday. I just will not be able to. So six-a-side football. You ever watch the six-a-side football game?
Well, other than touch? No.
Not tackle. I know.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I want some video.
Awesome stuff going down. All right. It's that time of the week to talk to doubles.
The all-new Sports Cage presents Double Talk with Darian Durant. Brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialist in Grenfell. Servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. And Prairie Land Rentals. Whether it's for the farm or the backyard, Prairie Land Rentals can help with all sizes of jobs.
All right, doubles. He's on the phone today. He's not on the stream, so you can't see him. Two-time Grey Cup champ here, our man. He's a busy guy right now. Hey, doubles, we're talking 6-a-side and 9-a-side football up here in Saskatchewan. I know they have sprinkles of that in the States, but what would your strategy be back in high school playing 6-a-side football?
Wow. You know what? It's crazy you ask that because I was just talking to my good friend Chris McKenzie, who has an 8-year-old who plays 5-man, and they were out in Toronto for a tourney. I guess it's somewhat of a national tourney in all of Canada, and I was just asking him, how do you attack these other teams in 5-man? And he was just saying, look, you get your best guys the ball, and you tell everyone else to get out of the way, whether that's a screen, whether that's a handoff or a deep pass, you name it. So the best thing to do is just to get your athletes the ball and put them in position to make plays.
That's right. I think that was the flag. That was the 5-a-side flag championship that was going on in Toronto. So that'd be cool. You have a tackle football on a regular field with only 6 humans. Like, there's so much space out there. Hey, before we get into the CFL and the Rider stuff, I want to ask you, NFL-wise, you look at the teams that are 2-0, and there are some surprises. Chargers, Steelers, I guess maybe the Texans. You could go there, and then you have the Seahawks, the Vikings, and the Saints. What's the most surprising 2-0 team in the mind of Darian Durant?
I would have to go with the Saints. I don't think anyone could have seen this coming, especially going into Dallas this weekend and just dominating the Cowboys in all phases of the game. I think the final was 44-19 or something like that, and it was just a total blowout at the half. So I don't think anyone saw the Saints going into Cowboy Stadium and just putting a beating on the Cowboys. So I think the Saints are the most surprising team. And then I have to have a B team when I talk about the Steelers. I mean, all the quarterback controversy that, getting rid of Kenny Pickett in the offseason and bringing over Russell Wilson, and then him not being able to play and having to start Justin Fields, who struggled in Chicago. I mean, that just goes to show the coaching job that Mike Tomlin has done, not only throughout his career, but especially this year with a new quarterback. To start off 2-0 is just amazing.
Okay, so Darian, we started the show today, and if people are just tuning in and they haven't gone to sportscage.com and have seen the article, the CFL has fined Riders Miles Brown for his low hit on Chris Strevler. So now we're 8 days since that game. They announced the fine today. Colson was saying they do have 10 days to do it, so they're still within that 8 days later. it's kind of a hokey look for the league to wait this long to fine them for that borderline hit. Or what's your take on it?
Yeah, I don't like the length of time it took to make that fine. Look, the guy has already received his paycheck for the game. And not only that, you have so much time after the game to evaluate the entire game, to see what's illegal and legal. And, I don't like that. I kind of look at it as a makeup fine for the hit the previous week in the Labor Day Classic. It's just unfortunate that it took this long, and it does. It makes it look like a Little League or Bush League fine, because these things should happen right away, and guys' livelihoods are involved with these checks they receive every week. So it makes no sense to lay that fine this week, this late in the week.
Yeah, sorry, Darren, DA here. I guess the team now just needs to move past it. Looking at the last 5 weeks here of the season, obviously the standings are jam-packed, hasn't been this close in a long time. When I look at this team, and I mirror it to your career, you were a winner. Like, you could be, the Riders could be having a poor game, you couldn't be moving the ball, but when the fourth quarter came and we needed a play, that's when you become a legend. I feel like that's what this team is missing. Have you seen that? And how do you, guys that seem to be able to make plays in the first and second quarter, why isn't that sort of happening at big moments in the game?
Yeah, you do kind of get the feeling that, we're missing that it factor, and I just don't want to take all the credit. I mean, I've had tremendous teammates, a Hall of Famer who was just inducted this past weekend, and Weston Dressler, who was one of the all-time greats. So I can't take all the credit, but it does just seem like the Riders are just missing that it factor. It's like you don't know who to lean on or who's the guy that's going to make a big play. And I heard you guys mention, we need to make some plays in the return game. I think that's important as well. But, I would like to see this offense step up. And when you get the ball late in the game and you need that game-winning drive, or you need to go down and get a field goal to tie, or whatever the case may be, the offense just can't seem to make plays late in the game. Aside from the Labor Day Classic, when they went down to score, that was a huge drive. But other than that, they've had ample opportunities in a lot of games this season to either seal the deal or make a game-changing play in the fourth quarter, and it just hasn't happened. So, like you said, it's just something missing, and it's just hard for me to pinpoint it. Guys just aren't stepping up in key situations.
You mentioned how you are one of the guys that bye week you like to stick around. To each their own, right? It's probably good on both sides. Some guys get out, collect their thoughts, and all of that. As for the coaching staff on that bye week, Darian, with the crunch time coming down here and what we have in the next 5 games, would you expected though the coaches would have been grinding hard and figuring out these next 5 weeks?
You would think so, especially with that log jam in the standings. You would think that it's essential for the coaches to kind of find out what they need to do or what positions they can put the players in to get over that hump. Because every game is tight. Every game is coming down to the fourth quarter for the most part. And it's just a play here or there that the team isn't making. So I would think the coaches would be just evaluating film as hard as possible to figure out what are those plays during the game that are game-changing plays that could, be momentum swingers or whatever that could put you in position to win. So this was, especially with the standings, I think each, bye week is situational depending on where you are in the standings. But with there being such a tight, standings in the West this season, it's more essential for the coaches to be there and figure out what they can do for the team to get over that hump.
And Darian, when obviously you've been on some teams that went through some slumps and you're getting down to the fall season, the end of the season, what do you do when it was your locker room? What kind of things would you say to your teammates to kind of turn the page and get back on that winning streak? And what types of, things would you do during the week leading up to it to try and get your teammates focused on making those big plays?
Well, I think at this point it's all about talking to the guys and figuring out what can't we do to lose games at this part of the season? And the most important things in this part of the season are penalties and turnovers. And, the Riders have shown that, discipline could be an issue at times. So as a leader, every single team meeting, every morning before practice, I would gather the guys, offense and defense, and I would say, look, when we go out here and, holding penalties are going to happen, pass interference, things that happen going full speed, those things happen. But the unsportsmanlike conduct, the time counts, the things that you can control, that's what we can't afford to let happen. So I would gather the guys and say, we're gonna impose player fines on guys who have late quarterback hits, unsportsmanlike conduct, things that are in your control. We're going to fine each other because we need to hold each other accountable because these things will get you beat, especially in this part of the season.
The Riders brought in today Raquel Armstead, who was with the Ottawa Red Blacks. Renegades. Too many teams there. When you bring in a guy, 5 games left, 5 weeks left in the season like that, any worry on disrupting the chemistry that might be in that room? I know there's been injuries, right? Obviously, with Ouellette out, they're bringing in these guys. Any kind of worry about disruption, Darian, or is it just like whoever helps us win at this point?
Well, I think that the running back position is one position that you really don't have to worry about breaking up chemistry. A guy can come in off the street and find a hole and be able to just run through it, So he showed early in the season that he could be very productive. And, as the weather turns and you're out west and you get into these battles, you're going to need a guy that you can lean on in that run game. And he's shown that he could be productive. And, like I said, running back is a position where you can just come in and contribute immediately.
Okay, we're going to let you go here. I need 2 predictions. I need what do you think first off in the Monday nighter tonight?
Oh man, you know what? This is going to be a good game.
The Eagles are 5.5-point favorites. I don't like the Falcons.
I was looking at the line. I was going to look at the line there. The Eagles have the moves they've made this offseason have just been tremendous, in my opinion. I think they're one of the most explosive teams in the league. And, everyone talks about Saquon Barkley addition, but I look at just locking up A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith at receiver. You lock in 2 of the better receivers in the league. So I think the Eagles will take care of the Falcons. The Falcons are trying to figure out who they are, and Kirk Cousins hasn't shown that he's recovered completely. So I look for the Eagles to win big. And I think, if I'm a betting guy, I definitely take that spread with the Eagles.
That's what I was going to do, but then I just worry about Kirk Cousins really giving me the big middle finger.
Just the backdoor cover.
Yeah, always. Okay, and then last question, prediction, Friday, Riders Stamps.
Man, Calgary scares me, especially in Calgary. They've shown, they played a tough Alouette team down to the wire with that tie. And the Riders coming off a bye, I just hope that they can the guys are locked in and they can match the speed of the game. When you come off a bye, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get back adjusted to the game and the game speed, and that's what I worry about. So, I know this is not going to be popular, but I just think that going to Calgary after a bye, Calgary is fighting for their life. Jake Mayer showed that he could bounce back and play a solid, 40-plus minutes of football, 60-plus minutes of football, And so I just think Calgary will edge one out, but I do think it'll be another competitive game.
Oh, hey, that's why we like you, Darren. You're honest guy.
Yeah, I try to be as honest as possible. Everyone knows where my heart is, but I just have to give my honest opinion. And like I said, coming off a bye, especially on the road, it's tough to early to get fired up and get started early. And Calgary, man, they're fighting for their lives, and I think it could be tough.
Okay, I know you got a busy week ahead. Let's regroup, and we'll chat again on Monday and see where your predictions land.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Right on. Double Talk with Darian Durant. It's always brought to you by Wolf Industries, truck repair specialists in Grenfell, servicing all sizes of trucks and SGI accredited, and Prairie Land Rentals right here in Regina. Locally owned. Deal with the owner right on Albert Street. Whether it's for the farm or the backyard, they can help you with any sizes. Yeah. Ooh, I don't think a lot of people are going to like that prediction from Darian.
No, going to make... listeners feeling a little bit uncomfortable because, like I said, you start looking at the standings if that happens, and there's those 4 weeks now are going to be really staring at us in the face, and we're going to have an uphill battle. If you don't win this one, we're in deep.
Like I said earlier, like just that tying Montreal. It's like, what? Go away. Like, make plans. But professional football, and just like anything in the CFL this year, it happened. Entertainment-wise, if you want to be entertained, if you don't have an allegiance to any team, you've definitely be entertained. Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50-50. Tomorrow's a big day on this because that's the cutoff for this week's early bird prize, which is a Whistler ski vacation. Includes flights, 3 nights accommodations for 2 at Blackcomb Springs Suites, 1-day lift pass and shuttle transfers, or you can just take $3,600 cash. So it's the 50-50 for the week. But the early bird prize ends tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Riders 50-50.ca. It is the all-new Sports Cage. Thank you if you're streaming at sportscage.com or listening, as always, on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Busy Bee Doors. Busy Bee will repair or replace your residential or commercial garage doors so you don't get stuck in or out. Catch the buzz. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Trust, confidence, and peace of mind. That's what you want when it comes to planning your financial future. You may already have a plan, but have you thought of everything? Together with Sun Life's estate and financial planning services, we can develop a plan that you can be confident in. Our specialized professionals can help build a solid financial strategy that can help grow and protect your wealth and your estate. Hi, I'm Douglas Stroud, your Sun Life advisor. Call me at 306-550-5331 or email douglas.stroud@sunlife.com. We're here to help navigate life's changes.
When you have a big job on the go, always head to Prairie Land Rental for everything from skid steers to excavators to jackhammers. You'll get everything done with equipment just from Prairie Land. You won't need to go anywhere else. And at Prairie Land, you deal directly with the owner. They're very local and very Sask. They appreciate your local business and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. Prairie Land Rental, 600 Albert Street. prairielandrental.com.
Are you in transition? We understand that hard work pays off, so let McDougall Auctioneers make it rewarding. Hi, this is Riley McChesney. Our retirement auctions are designed to honor your legacy and maximize returns. With our tailored approach, selling your asset becomes a seamless, profitable journey. Trust us to turn your hard work into a golden retirement opportunity. You earned it. McDougall Auctioneers, 1-800-263-4193, or visit us at McDougallAuction.com.
Whether Smokey's after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
Hey Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Listen to this. How does a 50-50 payday sound? Sounds like a win to me. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can purchase 50-50 tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can even score quickly with the early bird prize. This week it's a Whistler ski vacation and you'll be in for the massive weekly jackpots. Buy now at riders5050.ca and support amateur football in Saskatchewan. Sponsored by ISC. License LR 2426.
Hi, this is Stephen Arndt from the Tire Stewardship of Saskatchewan. We're the ones responsible for recycling your tires. We're a non-profit corporation that was established to serve as a scrap tire recycling program operator in Saskatchewan, approved by the Ministry of the Environment. We're responsible to all stakeholders, including consumers who pay the tire environmental fee, the collectors, the Ministry of the Environment, and the people of Saskatchewan. Visit tssk.ca to see how you can recycle your tires.
November 15th is the deadline to report your crop production to SCIC and register a claim. As soon as harvest is complete, report your detailed net production, accounting for weight, dockage, and grade. If you have any questions about reporting your production, contact SCIC before the November 15th deadline. Visit scic.ca or call 1-888-935-0000.
With over 380 conveniently located cardlock locations, Co-op offers the largest cardlock network in Western Canada. Count on us to keep you fueled 24/7, right from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, through to Thunder Bay, Ontario, and all points in between.
The all-new Sports Cage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the Sports Cage. DA, Schenk, Curtis, and Colson here. Also, if you're going to sportscage.com, and we want you to take part in that poll, should CHL players be allowed to play NCAA hockey? Also today, Benny Walchuk has his first SJHL power rankings. Regular season for the SJHL starts this weekend or later this week. And I will tell you, I don't want to give too much away because I want it to be a tease, and I want you to have to go to sportscage.com. The team that he ranks first did not win the league last year. Is that good enough tease? I don't know. Sportscage.com. You can see the SJHL power rankings right there. You can also go in and vote, and that's for people that are watching us on the stream. It all comes together. Okay, we're going back out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. No need to cook tonight. Western Pizza, perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings and all that. It's the weekly coaches show. We're just doing it a little bit later today at 5:30. Not a big deal. We got strength and conditioning coach with the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Regina boy Dan Farthing on the line. Dan, was it a bye week for you? Probably not. You're probably grinding away, weren't you?
Well, there was a bit of time off, but the guys were still interested in getting some ideas for some workouts from me, and that kind of happened like wherever they were located too. So we kind of went back to using our off-season strength and conditioning software to kind of shoot workouts to everybody who wanted them, and gave them a little break from me in the actual room.
What, so with where we are in the season right now, maybe even injuries aside, just the guys, like, what's the focus for players? What are you getting them to do with, 5 games left in the regular season? It's been a grind to this point. What's the take to them where we are right now, Dan?
Well, in my mind, it's interesting because we just had sort of like a refocus talk as we got back together in the weight room on Sunday, and I just kind of like wanted them to sort of get re-inspired for the lift, right? Because it is a grind, and yes, it does wear upon you, and there's every single body part that you have is hurting, and we just have to just make sure that we're always addressing those elements of athleticism that describe a good football player. And, the physical element of what we do is actually on the practice field. And, honestly, the way any pro football team practices, let alone at this point in the season, like it's very difficult to maintain those attributes just by doing what we do on the field. So you have to do the extra work in the weight room. And in order to maintain those adaptations that you work so hard for in the off season, you have to attend to them. You have to continue to subject yourself to that stimulus to get yourself to keep yourself strong and powerful and resilient and from injury, and to do all those things, you have to push some weight around.
Hey Dan, DA here. So at this time of year too, with guys fighting all these different injuries, do the coaches come to you to get a feel for where guys might have a little bit of holes given in their games, given that they're banged up, and do you play any part in that of sort of crafting, here's where we may have to cover up for a guy in certain situations if he just doesn't have the physical ability at this point in the season?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily I guess a strategy of covering a guy up, but the strategy more lies within like the load that we're imposing upon them throughout the course of the week in preparation for the game. Because we do definitely want them to be ready to play and be ready to be at the top of their athletic game. So, interestingly enough, a lot of what we're being asked to do this year is kind of like a little bit of a pilot project where we're using these, they're called catapult devices. So basically they're little devices that a subsample of the team wears. And with these devices, we can measure, their total distance traveled in a practice, how many high speed instances they've had, how many acceleration instances, deceleration instances that are hard on the body. They can even monitor with it's got an accelerometer and a gyroscope. It can measure contacts as well, even though there's not a whole lot of contact in practice. There's some. And all those metrics kind of go into determining something called player load. And, so we're following those things and we're communicating. And, I just, when things sort of get to a red line sort of measurement, that's when I sort of speak up and just suggest that we, maybe scale back a few reps here or there in each of the periods, and then hopefully that'll help the guys be fresh for the game.
That's fascinating. That is really
cool.
That's really cool.
There's been a few questions.
Very interesting stuff.
There's a few questions in my back pocket that I've been waiting to ask you for months. So I'm going to fire away. What, you retired in 2001. I'm a Saskatoon boy, so I remember watching you guys win your first ever Vanier with the Huskies too, right back in the day. I go way back. What's your take, Dan, on where we are right now with field turf compared to natural grass? Obviously, both are way better than what you would have played on back at old Mosaic, like the AstroTurf. But like that field turf that the kids and adults and then now the riders obviously too playing on compared to actual turf. What's your take there?
Oh, it's hard to say. I think we're a long way away from having amount of longitudinal data that would make us be able to make some definitive statements on whether or not it predisposes to injury or what. But I'll tell you, the field turf, I keep telling everybody, is a godsend compared to the Omni turf and AstroTurf that we used to play on, where it basically felt like you're playing on a parking lot, and it was a parking lot that would give you the worst third-degree rug burns on earth. Some of those were the worst injuries ever, where your skin would just never heal. Like you'd be saran wrapping yourself so you could actually not stick to your bed sheets at night. It was horrible. And I always remember too playing on Commonwealth Stadium, and your body felt, I can't even tell you the percentage difference. Like those were obviously very tough games. It's a pro football game, but your body felt a lot different when you left Commonwealth Stadium and its natural grass surface, and compare that to Omni turf, where there's sand and bottle caps and glass and things like that.
Yeah.
So in that vein, like going back to your playing days in university and in the league, what's the one piece of new technology or equipment or a field that you would in a heartbeat go back? What's the top thing you think that makes it a little bit easier to play football now than back then?
Oh boy, that's hard to say. Like the field turf is a synthetic surface, right? So it doesn't necessarily feel exactly like grass. And you add to that the fact that almost all the teams practice on it, right? So there was some talk amongst strength and conditioning people throughout the league, like the guys and gals that work for all the teams, and the BC Lions seem to have a low injury rate for several years in a row. And I had the good fortune of being able to go just kind of tag along with some of their off-season workouts this spring, and they play on the most plush grass surface you would not believe. So we're like, I don't know, it would just be sort of like a hypothesis, but the fact that they play on that until I think it's late September, they just practice on that every day. Who knows? Maybe that's a factor. I don't really know, but the grass surface is quite nice, but there's a soccer surface at BMO Field, and I think it kind of acts the same way as, I think the soccer field that the NFL game was played on a couple weeks back in Brazil. Was it Brazil they were playing? And
yep.
Guys were slipping all over the place because for drainage, that really has a sand sort of base, so it's not even it's not turf that's going into soil. It's turf that's going into this loose sand, and it doesn't really respond positively to the types of shoes that all the guys like to wear right now. So there's a lot of slipping that happens at BMO Field, and as you witnessed, like a lot that happens down in Brazil as well.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Who knows? I think, with injuries, it's always super tough to comment on them. Like at the early part of the year, we were doing pretty well, and I'm always reluctant to take credit for no injuries, because football is a violent, aggressive, chaotic, random game, right? And to say that you're going to be able to do exercises that prevent the types of situations that happen when someone gets rolled up or when someone just falls into another person from the side, like it's so random. So I'm careful about taking credit, because if it goes the other way, you better be prepared to take the blame if it goes the other way too. So we do what we can. We try and create resiliency. That's a big difference than what we did in the past too. There's a lot of exercises throughout the course of any given workout that I really focus on, quality, range of motion, and resiliency, all the muscles and connective tissue that maintain the structural integrity of the joints. We're paying attention to that stuff now, and that's part of the workout as one of the exercises in the circuit, rather than just, I spoke earlier about getting over or under a heavy barbell, but that's always sort of supersetted or circuited with exercises that, are supposed to help individuals have resiliency when it comes to facing those injuries.
Are we? So here's one of my other questions I wanted to ask for. I feel that in the last, I don't know, was it 15 years, maybe 20 years, we're seeing so many more Achilles injuries compared to maybe back in the day. Maybe they, without social media, and maybe they weren't called Achilles injuries. But, when you go back to your days, like in 1987 with the Huskies, like working out then was so different. Like it was probably, supersetting, who could bench the most, hammering back creatine or whatever it was back then. But now with athletes, all athletes, I have a hockey son and a hockey daughter. They're just so much better. They're so much faster. They're just than we ever were. Are you seeing a lot of different injuries, Dan, than maybe you would have back in the 80s, just because the athletes are so much bigger, stronger, faster?
Yeah. I don't know what one could relate it to. Like definitely the athletes are very, very conditioned, very, very trained. They're very explosive. It's hard to say too, because a lot of them come from such different backgrounds, and this was my sort of first off season, kind of working with them throughout the whole year since way back in 2013-14 when I was with the team. But so I don't really have a really good handle on what a lot of them were doing in the off season, and I'd like to get a better feel for that. And it's been a process of building trust and showing them, just having a conversation with them and having them gain confidence in my skill set and my knowledge base, and then just sort of finding some common ground where we continue to include some things that they like to do, but also sort of mix those things in that I like to do as well. In terms of like the rashes of injuries, I don't really know what it is. Who knows if it's like the rubber that makes the fake grass stand up on end, and maybe that's not a solid enough surface for a heel to do a hard plant in, and people are maybe getting Achilles injuries from that. Again, field turf has been around for a while, but it's still a relatively brief period of time for us to kind of like make guesses on what is it that's causing Achilles injuries. I mean, it could be cleats. It could be, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there was like this rash of high ankle sprains that just made people go, what's going on here? They thought that was the field turf, and all of a sudden that's quieted down a little bit. So I don't know. This seems to happen in waves, and I don't know if there is an explanation for it. They're definitely hardworking people, and they do pay attention probably way more than I ever did to quality of movement. And like I said, those exercises that build resiliency. But again, football's football. Sometimes when someone really big is trying to hit you at high velocity, it doesn't bode well for an outcome.
My last one, like I said, Saskatoon boy, I remember you winning that thing in 1990, the first ever Vanier Cup for the Saskatchewan Huskies. Do you go back to that game often, Dad? I know it was televised. It was like the Sky Dome back then was so new. Do you ever go back to that game, and like what memories would you pull from winning that Vanier Cup?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Yes, I'm still super close friends with a lot of the guys that kind of were part of that team. It was a pretty special accomplishment. When I first showed up at the U of S, we were, kind of a doormat team, not really amassing a lot of wins in a season. And then there was a nucleus of guys that just decided that, we would like a different outcome. We all came from successful high school programs and just wanted to feel that again. So this is where my love of strength and conditioning kind of came in, because we sort of dedicated ourselves to what we needed to do to change the level of athleticism that we brought to our coaches each and every year. And so that meant a lot of hard work in the off season. It meant creating a new culture. It meant running with the track and field team. It meant doing all these things that were the extras, so that when it came time to line up against those bigger centers that actually would draw from a larger population and make a really good football team, that we'd be able to match up, and not only match up, but beat them. So, it was strength and conditioning in my mind that not only changed us and took us all the way to a national championship. That's a pretty grand life lesson to learn right there, that if you want a different outcome, you just have to put in different inputs.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And not only, the big input there too was sort of the brotherhood that created, right? Because, football and university is a very, very brief period of time. But when you're spending, the 8 months in the off season, 10 months in the off season, sometimes of just being with your team, with your squad, and spending all that disciplined, dedicated time together, that builds a brotherhood that is completely a crucial element of any championship team. So, it's kind of why I fell in love with strength and conditioning. It taught a fantastic life lesson, just with to do with hard work and with just the fact that if you want to get something out of something, it's directly related or proportional to what you put into it. And in the weight room, as a student, as a husband, as a father, as whatever, it's all a function of that life lesson. So I reflect on that outcome a lot. If it's not, throwing in an old VHS tape and watching the game, if I can happen to find a working VCR. But it's just also just the reflection on it, the reflection on it, and just, touching base every once in a while with some dear friends that share that same ring.
There was probably still a few team meetings you guys would have had at Louis back in the day on campus.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
All right, Dan. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for doing this today. This was great, and best of luck with everything. And let's hope we get the next 5 weeks here good for the boys.
Yeah, we're going to make a hard push, and I believe my heart of hearts things are going to turn around for us, and we're going to make a great push into the playoffs and right to the end.
Right on. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
And strength and conditioning coach with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dan Farthing. That was a big deal back in Saskatoon. They won that thing in 1990. The city went bonkers. Like you said, they stunk. And then it was that kind of turned that whole program around.
Well, and that was pre-Rams, U of R Rams, so even the southern half of the province, that was our college team. It was a big deal.
It is the all-new Sports Cage. If you're watching on the stream, sportscage.com. And as always, we are on the home of the U of R Rams, 620 CKRM.
Well, Coach, welcome back from the bye week. Was there
Meet your new favorite shade of green. At Nick Service, we offer the Fendt 500 Vario Series tractor that's tailor-made for your farm. Get better stability, ease of use, and comfort with one tractor. Whether you're feeding, tilling, baling, or hauling, this series is built for your farm. Experience up to 163 horsepower with this multi-purpose tractor. Visit Nick's Service in Emerald Park or go to nicksservice.com to get a quote on the Fendt 500 Vario Series.
Rooted in tradition, leading in innovation, McDougall Auctioneers is your first choice for farm auctions. Hi, this is Riley McChesney. At McDougall Auctioneers, we understand that selling your farm equipment is more than just business. It's about peace of mind. That's why we offer a unique guarantee. a minimum value for your auction, ensuring you sell with confidence and comfort. Our promise is your security. Choose McDougall Auctioneers, where your satisfaction is not just expected, it's guaranteed. McDougallAuction.com.
A cassette player. Really? What year is this? I know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But just because it works doesn't mean it's working for you. Same with insurance. Your driving history can get better with time, so shopping around could get you a better rate. CA Insurance will review your policy, even if it's with another provider, to help you find the right coverage. How's that for music to your ears? CA Insurance Company, making things better.
For pizza lovers who are short on time and hungry for a great deal, Little Caesars Pizza is ready when you are. Walk in, grab your hot and ready favorites, and walk out. It's just that easy. Try the classic hot and ready medium pepperoni pizza for only $7.99. You get a delicious quality pizza at a great price. It's available all day, every day for just $7.99 at Little Caesars. And try other hot and ready favorites like their iconic Crazy Bread or Caesar Wings. Little Caesars Pizza, 20 years of hot and ready.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Friday is game day as the Riders take on the Calgary Stampeders. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Dunk is at 4:30. Pre-game shows at 6:30. And kickoff with Luke Mullender and I is at 7:30. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Roughrider Radio Network is brought to you by Salford Group, Quality Tire, Connexus Art Center, and Redhead Equipment. Stream every minute of Rider football at sportscage.com.
Hi, I'm Deb Davies with the Saskatchewan Foster Families Association, and we're actively recruiting new foster homes in your area. Fostering is all about families helping families, and our team is with you, providing ongoing training and support. We invite caring families of all types to imagine fostering. It's a rewarding way to make a meaningful difference in a child's life. Have you ever considered becoming a foster parent? Please reach out today at saskfosterfamilies.ca.
Your opinion does matter. Call or text us 306-936-6262. Driven by Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. CapitalFordLincoln.com on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
We were talking Friday Night Lights earlier, so I want to give another plug to everyone that's rocking it out there. 6 aside, 9 aside, 12 aside, all these small towns with the portable lights. I absolutely love it. You found something. This is a cool story.
My father-in-law sent me in a picture of his team from the Foam Lake Panthers in the 60s. He says he thinks they have lights out in Foam Lake. So it was 9 on 9. So we need someone to text in that's out in Foam Lake still, see if they're rocking the lights up there.
Foam Lake, do you have lights for football? 936-6262. We know you have lights in Foam Lake. Is there lights at the football field? What text message come in here? 6 aside in the U.S. is fun to watch. The school I work and plays 6 aside. I've officiated a few games here as well. Everyone is eligible to receive a pass, and if you need 15 yards for a first. Oh. Field is 80 yards long, 40 yards wide. It can be a track meet at times. So I think that's a U.S. number too. Thanks for tuning in down there. Oh, Bryant, Foam Lake, they do have lights.
Nice.
That a boy, Bry. Way to be Johnny on the spot there. Nice and quick.
That's right. Go Panthers. Yeah.
Panthers, yeah. Oh, we get so high at sportscage.com. You got to let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods. We want to promote it for all the kids out there and really pump high school football. We talked about it earlier. Dave Thomas back at practice today with the Riders, and he had a chance to catch up with the head coach and ask him about coming off a bye week.
Well, Coach, welcome back from the bye week. Was there a different feeling out on the field today?
I think so. I mean, today it showed. I mean, the energy was outstanding in the building prior to us getting out here at practice. Guys were flying around. You could just tell their legs looked a little bit different. But that's just part of the season, man. We go through a 10-game stretch, and that's what it is. We try to prepare ourselves for that physically. what that might look like for us. And certainly, you look at the results of how many guys had to play over that span. So I thought the bye week was perfectly timed for us. We needed one. I think clear our space mentally, but certainly physically, just everybody get their legs back a little bit.
Rockwell Armstead signs with the team. What does he bring?
Yeah, no, and obviously the sample size that he had in Ottawa, I thought he emerged as one of the maybe top backs in the league, and does a lot of things well. He runs well. He protects the quarterback very well. He can catch out of the backfield. So he had a pretty good stretch there in Ottawa, and humbly being able to come in and see if he can help us. So that's the main thing, just getting them in the building. He's going to have to learn the playbook from scratch. So, it'll take some time, but, kid looked good out there running today, and, we'll see where that goes for us down the road.
Now, there were some questions around the circumstances in which he was released from Ottawa. Do you have any more information on that?
I'm big on kind of just, making my own decisions on that. Everybody individually has their own way how they handle things, and when we brought him in, we spoke about it a little bit, but I reached out to a couple other people that I trust, and just understanding the man, and at the end of the day, I know he's a competitor, wants to win. We like those kind of people, but certainly there's a way we conduct business around here. He's totally on board with that, so it's all positive. If you're asking me about the guy, he's been outstanding in my time with him, so until I see anything different, then I see him as what he's been.
So would he slot in behind Frankie Hickson and Thomas Bertrand-Houdin?
Again, he's a pretty dang good back, but our system isn't really the easiest to pick up. So right now, just depth piece. But certainly, can he help us, going down the road? Absolutely. I mean, we've seen it enough in the league, his time in the league. But first and foremost, you got to know where to go, what to do. So we'll start there.
Of course, his signing signals some alarm bells that perhaps A.J. Ouellette may not be able to return this season. Do you expect him back at some point?
Yeah, at some point, just, not obviously this week. He's still just going through it right now. He was pretty banged up. So, I knowing him, and you see him out here, cheering the guys on, and then in the weight room and stuff, he's doing as much as he possibly can. But again, we want to make sure that, as we get through this season here, hopefully we can turn this thing around, and, he can come back and help us.
Well, maybe one player that is closer, Anthony Lanier. How is he looking?
Close. I mean, he had the helmet on today, so that was a start. And certainly you hear him when he's out here, right? So, he's trending in the right direction. Which obviously he's had quite the career here. So, the guys who've been in there have been playing their tails off as well. So that's a good thing for us. We got good depth, I think, at the D-line position. But you insert Anthony Lanier into anything, it's a plus.
Okay. There it is. We'll hear more from Coach Mace and the Riders as we go along here this week. D8, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Byron. Thanks for having me. Love it.
You're on your way to Chicago this weekend?
Go Cubs. It's going to be a lot
of fun. Are you going to Wrigley?
Going to Wrigley. 2 games.
Oh, man. It's on my bucket list.
Be in the bleachers.
I don't know if I want to go to a ball game at Wrigley or if I want to go to a concert.
Yeah, tough call. I mean, obviously, ball games, it'd be great to do both, but you're never going to get both on a weekend, obviously. Thanks.
Colson, thanks. Curtis, not bad. Back tomorrow, Sportscage. Stream it at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
Some will try to